Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Like God's here, and I'm reacting to a big win over the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas last night. It's the first time we've won in Dallas since Kawhi was on our team, so that says a lot right there. Huge win. Kind of what happened was one of these games where people underestimate us or they don't necessarily understand who we are. They take us lightly. Well, they pay for it. And well, I have more and more faith and hope for this Raptors team after last night's game, stacking these two Texas wins in a row, that we have unlimited potential, that it really is up to us. It's not that the NBA media machine dictates who the best teams in the league are. It's if you play really well, you gel, and you have your shit together, you become one of the best teams in the league. And the potential for the Raptors to grow into being one of the best teams in the league this year is there. You can see it when you see the way they played last night. When they're all hitting on the cylinders, they're all hitting. That means, like, we're firing on all cylinders. We're in good shape. We saw really good bench play coupled with different guys stepping up in the starting lineup and just an overall complete team effort, overwhelming the really great two superstars of the Dallas Mavericks. That's a big, huge key to the win, is that our team was overall better, bigger, more talented, just outplaying the hell out of the Mavericks. They had nobody down low. And I think that the NBA, with their small ball mentalities, with like they're going to try and play Dwight Powell at center and stuff like that. Well, you need to get bullied, is what I'm going to say right now. If you're going to have a lineup like that, and you're going to send out four guards and a power forward and say that that's your lineup, you deserve to get bullied. And you did get bullied last night by Pascal Siakam. I love seeing Siakam back somebody down right next to the basket and just make layups. It's so fun. And it's so fun to see my first star of the game, Pascal Siakam, get over 30 points last night and be the player of the game. Just such a badass. And you see, Siakam, there are different ways that you, Scotty, OG, and the rest of y'all can take apart and dismantle other teams. Y'all just need to find those weak spots, like you in the low post, just dominating Grant Williams, whoever they decide to try and put on you as a fake player. We were so much bigger, but just as fast and up and down the court as the other team, that we had a huge dominating advantage last night. They had honestly, the way we played against them, I was like, we're dominating them. We are dominating the Dallas Mavericks, who are 6-1 and are being touted as one of the best teams in the West right now. I think that I'm going to predict this right now, that the Toronto Raptors are going to have a really good record against the Western Conference this year. We've already beaten Minnesota, San Antonio, and Dallas. And the thing is, those teams are good. And I think it's a style clash. I think it's also maybe the refs will be nicer to us in East versus West matchups, because sometimes the referees are much more screwier during a game against Boston or Philly. But the refs were screwy last night, but it didn't matter. Ben Taylor, an idiot. We saw Darko do two challenges in a row within like a minute of each other, and they were both successful. So in some ways, Brian Winders, you can have a whole roll of quarters of challenges, please, because it seems like he needs to put them in the machine like at an arcade to keep playing, because he could have used another 5 challenges probably to set the referees straight on their bullshit calls. There were a lot of them, but it didn't matter. Once again, I say the refs are going to be screwy, and they're going to screw with us, and it's going to be, just not fair. But we don't have to make excuses of that. We can go ahead and beat their asses so good that it doesn't matter if the refs are making crazy calls against us. It doesn't matter, because we're that damn better than the other team. Yeah, I was wanting to listen to the interviews after the game, but Raptors admin just put up the interviews just now, like 10 minutes ago. I wrote a comment in there and I said, hey, why are y'all failing so much this year? They reposted the Raptors tonight as the media availability interviews, and they caught their mistake finally. So I tried to watch the interview just before I got on here. I saw Pascal's and Chris's, but I did not get to watch Darko's coach's interview after the game because they just posted it like 10 minutes ago. All right, let's see what y'all are saying on this great day. A fantastic win by the Raptors, a very promising win, a win that illustrates that we really don't need to be putting a cap on what we think their potential is this year. This is seriously, you see how they played last night. Scott becomes more and more of a superstar. We can win a championship. I think that people think that I'm crazy for saying that. No, I'm not, because things can happen. We have the right mix of stuff. In some ways, we have the right balance of vet and young to develop. And I love our vet look late in the game. Once again, that was a big factor, having players like Porter and Schroeder out there to help our really good players like Siakam, Anunoby, and Barnes close out the game. That's a lot of smarts and know-how and experience. And in some ways, that has been super helpful for games to close out, to make sure that we win and not have any kind of falter or anything weird. But honestly, we got so much good from the bench last night. We saw Malachi in some ways level up last night. I feel like he was a backup point guard, and he was fine at it last night. He was guarding Kyrie good. He had a lot of good stuff going. Chris was great when he came in. Also, Gary Trent waking up last night. So lots of good stuff happening for the Raptors in overall as a group last night. And we'll go over each one. Trevor J saying, good morning, Raptors family. And he's also saying big win last night. Pascal was unstoppable. OG, another big game. Kyrie said the team was trying to keep up with the Raptors' speed. He said the coach called the team soft. Woo, woo, woo. Oh, Jason Kidd called them soft. I don't know. I really do feel like the Mavs underestimated the Raptors a little bit. I feel like they were a little too casual. And, well, this is maybe an effective thing that happens a lot this year, until people realize the Raptors aren't shitty again. You know, they can think we're shitty. The media can tell them we're shitty, but in some ways that's great PR. It's like a Trojan horse. You send it into their house, and then boom, you come out and you kill them. You kick their ass. You beat them. You beat them bad. And that's kind of what we're doing this year. Everybody's got the word out that the Raptors are supposed to be bad this year. They lost Fred and Nick, and they're kind of maybe letting their guard down a little bit more than they would in just recent years past with the really good Raptor teams that they know they have to get up for. You know, Kyrie did try and take over this game late, but he wasn't able to do enough. And we had that double-digit lead, and we kept spacing it out. They'd score, but we'd get enough stops and score enough ourselves that they never got close enough in the fourth quarter. That really is what they've done the last few games against Orlando and other teams, where they're down by a lot and they just overwhelmed them offensively by the end of the game and end up winning. They came back from crazy margins this season already. And the fact that we held the Mavericks off the whole second quarter, whole second half, is amazing, because you got to think about the offensive firepower and the potential of those two players that they have on the other side, Luka and Kyrie. You know, the fact that we contain them somewhat to a degree. I mean, look, their stat lines are great. They're amazing, but they could have been way, way worse. Trust me, without people like OG Anunoby guarding Luka and Dennis Schroeder guarding Kyrie. Yeah, I like the look of Dennis on Kyrie, and you can tell there's a body of work against each other over the years where Dennis understands Kyrie quite well, and I thought that he played him really, really well. You know, the thing that they're doing that I love is they're not overly aggressive on their defense. They're playing them real close, and they're playing them smart, but they're not fouling them. And in some ways, they're just agitating them, or, you know, doing a little bit of this right when they shoot, and that's enough that for them to miss. Maybe the other team is anticipating contact, and we go just stop short of actually making content, and they're like, whoa, and they uppercompensate on their shot, and they miss it that way. I feel like that's partly why Luka missed some of the shots he missed last night, was because he was expecting more contact and physicality that never came. It's almost like OG kind of stopped short of touching him. He's like, and like, you know what I'm talking about if you play basketball. There's physical defense, and then there's covering defense that doesn't touch the other person, that can be very smothering. And that's the way we were playing last night. We weren't playing like a very much, I'm grabbing your arm or hitting your hand like in a cheap way. We were covering them like a blanket. And OG was just like a shadow to Luka, and the OG Plumbing Company was in full effect, even if you see the almost 30 points by Luka and around 30 points for Kyrie on the other side. Those guys were contained to a degree. Seriously, the stat sheet may not show it. Yeah, Kyrie, very respectful of the Raptors in his post-game interview. I watched the Mavericks interviews because I could see them. And Kyrie was saying that, you know, that he's played our team a lot over the years, and he thinks he knows the Raptors mentality, but they kind of caught him off guard this time. I think that he really did buy into this whole thing of Nick and Fred being gone, that we would be a little bit more of a pushover. I got that feeling, but I don't think he'll make the same mistake the next time we play them. But we only get to play Kyrie twice this year, which is great, instead of him being in a division rival. Yeah, it was a great game last night. Fantastic game. So enjoyable to watch. If you're a real Raptors fan or a Raptors freak like we are, you were in cloud nine last night. Some of the game, it was just hilarious to watch. There was so much in it. So much in it. So please give me your reactions, your specific reactions to the game. Talk about the players you like, incidents you saw in the game, maybe something about the referees, maybe something about some of the fun extracurricular stuff that happened in the game also last night. Let's see. Nako's here. Good to see Gerald. Seen people saying this was Scotty's worst game this year. I think it's the one with the Bulls. Scotty still has an eye-popping stat line. OG and Pascal went nuts. Yeah, I don't understand this need to denigrate somebody after a game. Scotty's played so well this season, and he did not have a bad game last night. And I don't understand. Even Gerald, like coming in here, was like, people are saying this is Scotty's worst game. Who cares what those people are saying? First of all, the people that are saying stuff like that, ignore them. They're idiots. Because Scotty had a really good game last night. He didn't even have a bad game. And it betrays their mindsets as being negative mindsets. That they're looking for who had the bad game after a game like last night. Once again, I'm going to say this. On reaction days after big wins like the one last night, I'm not going to tolerate a negative mindset in the comments. And anybody who's looking for who to point fingers at to be critical about last night, they need to just STFU, because there's no reason. There's no reason. These guys are fine-tuning behind the scenes. And yeah, they can get real nitpicky with the coaches, but they don't need to get nitpicky with Jim, who lives over on Pharmacy Avenue in Scarborough or something like that. They don't need to get nitpicky with Antonio, who lives in fucking Etobicoke. No, they don't need to be nitpicked by any of these fucks. So if anybody's saying something like, oh, Scotty had his worst game this year, first of all, you've outed yourself as a casual, because he got a double-double, and he almost flirted with a triple-double, and he took over at certain times. Once again, Siakam has not had a bad game either. Neither has Barnes. So this is so dumb. Gerald, I'm going to say something like this. Get that garbage out of here. Just go watch or listen to other people that are positive. Stop bringing this negative crap in here. Nobody gives a shit if they think that Scotty had his worst game this season. Fuck those people. Idiots. I'm going to go to their work and say, oh, you put your little coffee cup down on your desk wrong, and criticize them at work. Oh, you stapled those papers wrong. Oh, you didn't kiss your boss's ass enough. Wrong. Fucker. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in there and over criticize them at work. All right, my first star of the game is Siakam. Siakam was fantastic. 5 of 25. I love the shooting percentage. Of course, a lot of it was because he was just turning around near the basket and just putting it up over little babies the whole night. Just put it up over little babies. Easiest night. He missed all 5 of his threes, and he made everything from inside. He was 1 for 4 at the free throw line. Once again, our free throw shooting really not good. We're going to need to clean this up as the season goes on, because when we play top level teams like Boston on Saturday, you cannot afford to miss free throws, guys. So stop missing so many free throws, Raptors. You're driving me nuts. 4 offensive rebounds, 12 rebounds altogether for Siakam. I love the double-double with 31 with 12, 5 assists, a +7. Siakam, by far, the player of the game, the dominant player, the one taking these Mavericks to school. We said it in the preview yesterday. Can Siakam treat Grant Williams like PJ Tucker? Well, yes, he can. And he did it last night. He made him look like PJ Tucker, talking trash to him. He's like, what are you going to do to me? You ain't going to do jack shit. They couldn't do nothing. Our points in the paint last night was amazing. We got so many points in the paint and dominated them and made them look like a little kids team. Seriously, didn't it look like that at times? I think Mavericks are lacking some things, size and defense. And I think all these Western Conference teams that lack size and defense, they may get their ass kicked by the Raptors this year. Sons, I'm looking at you too. Yeah, I'm looking at you too. So yeah, when we play these teams, it's going to be fun. I have a very strong suspicion that the Raptors are going to win against most of the Western Conference teams this year. They really are. I really do believe that. Nako's saying, I think this might be the best I've seen Gary play within the flow of the team, and he certainly didn't deserve that tech. Yeah, I don't even remember the tech that he got. There were a lot of weird, dumb calls last night. The refs were weird. They were very weird. Sean Wright is a weirdo, and Ben Taylor's got problems. I don't know what's going on with that guy. Some people were saying that he's too shakeable, like people are get to him, or he's like not sure. In some ways, I hear them. The whole part with Dennis and Grant Williams touching his face was great. I love that Ben Taylor stopped the game to go look at it, but the outcome wasn't right. It's like, oh, it's a non-hostile act. I'm sorry. If anybody touches anybody's face like that on purpose, that should be a technical. If y'all are going to be giving intimidation technicals and throwing Giannis out in the Milwaukee Bucks game, well, when Grant Williams purposely swiped his hand across Dennis's face, that should have been probably a technical. But y'all are saying it was a non-hostile act. Bullshit. He knew he did that on purpose. And there was hostility in that act. It's just a troll. And in some ways, that was bullshit call. Ben Taylor looked at it. He's like, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Whatever. But I'm glad that they listened to Dennis and they actually stopped the game to go look at it. In some ways, Dennis flexed some power in that moment to say, look, he touched my face. You need to go review it and go look at it and tell me what you think. And when they went and looked at it and they said it was non-hostile and inconsequential or something like that. I don't fucking know. Either way, they could have called a tech on him for that. Some refs might have, but Ben Taylor said, "Oh, this is not a big deal. This is not a big deal." My second star of the game last night is OG. OG did it on both sides of the ball again. Really, really doing some great stuff with Luka, and then scoring really well himself. 9 of 17, 3 of 8 from 3, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, +9 with 26 points. OG really is playing A+ at both ends of the court. A+ on defense against a top player like Luka Doncic, and then A+ on the other end with very efficient offense that comes to him in the natural flow of the game. And I love what he's doing. We saw a little bit of OG coming off the dribble. We saw OG very, very aggressive to attack the rim. Some of that was really fun. Like, it made me think of the OG, let's go, man. The Christmas carol I wrote last year with the lyric, dunk it on those hoes. Because he's been dunking it on those hoes last night, coming with the thunder. And it's like, get the fuck out of OG's way or he's going to put you on a poster. This is what it was looking like last night. I love how aggressive his burst is to go at the rim and how fearless he's going there. There was one moment where OG stepped on his foot a little gingerly, and I'm hoping there's not going to be any appearance of him on the injury list just because he landed on his feet a little bit off balance, and it looked like he might have strained something. But I don't know. I haven't heard any initial reports of any problems, but there was a moment where I was like, oh, crap, I don't want OG to get hurt. And, of course, Dallas is their stupid fucking wet court is always a little bit of a worry in different ways. But, yeah, OG's my second star. My third star of the game is actually Schroeder. I felt like Schroeder really was, once again, somebody who played within the flow of the game. 7 of 13, fantastic shooting. 1 of 4 from 3. He could have hit a couple of those threes, other threes. He had good shots. They were just off, and they were open. They weren't ill-advised shots. It's just that a couple of those 4, 1 or 2 of them could have more went in, and that would have been huge. But I won't be upset about it. 3 for 4 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, a block, 4 fouls, a +1 with 18 points. The thing about Dennis that I'm really, really starting to love is his leadership. He is so good at keeping the guys organized and kind of keeping their head into the game. If there's a difference, another difference that I'm discerning between Van Vliet and Schroeder as our starting point guard is that in some ways, Dennis is better at organizing the guys to have the right mentality of competition to get them to a higher level. Fred, in some ways, may not have been the most motivating speaker to the other players. And it's kind of like he just plays in his own world. And he was kind of shunned as the leader of the team in certain ways. So that maybe he wasn't as vocal or able to be like, guys, all right, and right now we're going to get this together and we're all going to get on the same page. I want y'all to really, really dial in and be right on this next play because this is so important. In some ways, Dennis has a better job of orienting Scotty and Pascal and OG and the guys than Fred even. I don't know if Fred just isn't that kind of guy to get everybody's head in the right headspace because I didn't see him doing that a whole lot last year. But Dennis does. You see it when he brings all them together and he kind of goes over something real quick with them and when he gets a moment on the court. And I love that. That's a difference that is different from last year to this year. In some ways, we're getting on-court leadership that is really getting our guys in the right mindset because of Schroeder. It was awesome. We saw the whole Schroeder versus Kleber thing play out last night. There was a chippy moment where something was said and Dennis dissed him. He straight up dissed him. And he can in every kind of way. Maxey, you were lazy this summer. You look out of shape even last night. You seem like you don't take your life very seriously. That's all Dennis was calling you out on as a fellow German and wanting you to play for the team. You're not taking your life seriously. So he called you out on it. So what are you doing? You're getting upset. I seen you doing little dirty things with picks in the game last night, Kleber. Like you were going to try and hit him. Well, Dennis is too fleet-footed and too on the know that what you're trying to do. So he sidestepped every single time you took a cheap shot at him around a screen. And yeah, that one moment underneath the basket, you got it on each other's faces. I don't know what y'all said, whether it was in English or German, but I'm pretty sure Dennis put you in your place. And he told you straight up, look, man, I got that medal. I got that MVP. I took our country to the promised land at FIBA World Cup. And you were anywhere near that team because you're a lazy ass. That's all he had to say to Maxi Kleber in that one moment when they were underneath the basket in the game last night. That was fun. That was fun because Dennis talked some mad shit to him. And he was exactly right when he said what he said to him. Kleber, you big goof, man. I love Dwight Powell. But yeah, they need a center. They need more big guys. They're saying, because their rookie was out, the Omax, and also Lively, that hurt them. But man, y'all seem like you don't have enough big players. If you're going to play Grant Williams at power forward, expect Siakam and people like him to abuse your team. Seriously, if you're going to play Grant Williams at power forward, old doughboy, cheap shot artist, BS artist. Yeah, that guy, I hate that guy so much. And man, touching Dennis's face made me hate him even more. Yeah, my fourth star of the game is Barnes. Barnes, not too far off from a triple-double. If this is his most horrible game, oh my gosh, these idiots. 4 for 15. Yeah, he didn't shoot that well. 0 of 4 from 3, 6 of 8 from the free throw line, 6 offensive rebounds by Scott. And in fact, that may be the most impressive thing about Scott. The thing about him is if he decides he wants to go get the loose ball, he will just go get it. It's not like a choice the other team has. He has the quickness and the tenacity and the size and the strength, and he has the IQ to get to the spot quickly. You see Scotty swooping in and just stealing rebounds, like either putting them back on the offensive end or taking it and ending the defensive possession for the defensive rebound. I love the way Scott is rebounding right now. In fact, that may be the thing that I'm the most impressed with about him in the last week or so, other than the big step back three, is getting in there and just going the will to get the ball. The will to get the ball by Scotty off rebounds right now is insane. In fact, if you love rebounding, the way you see Scotty rebound right now, you gotta really, really appreciate the pure physical specimen that Scotty Barnes is to be able to go and do what he does with the size, the speed, and the strength to go and just take rebounds when he wants them. 6 offensive rebounds last night. Huge, huge stat. Keeping possessions alive for the Raptors to get the second chance. And man, he was the second chance quite often himself. And boy, was he a badass. 14 rebounds altogether, 7 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. They're keeping track of his stat right now, and he's insane. That's 6 between the steals and the blocks. That's insanely good. +9, 14 points. Yeah, the reason why these casuals say he had his worst game is because they just only look at the point total, those dumbasses. Everybody who's judging NBA players only on how many points they score in a game, y'all are idiots. Y'all are not knowledgeable fans. If you only judge a player on how many points they score in a game, you are a very shallow NBA fan that does not understand the depths of what matters on an NBA court. So, yeah, the criticisms of anybody today are to STFU from me. And if they're in the comments, we'll see me react to them. Yeah. So there's my, I got one more star to do. My 5th star is Trent, as Gerald has brought him up. I'm glad to see Trent finally have a really good game off the bench. I could have picked Chris here too. He was really solid and perfect off the bench himself. But I picked Trent because it was his wake-up game, finally showing up and doing major things. 6 of 11 for Gary, 4 of 8 from 3. I love seeing those threes going in finally, not just for my fantasy team, but just for Gary himself. Jordan Bolton on Twitter last night saying, welcome back, Relly, because he's seen the signification of him finally waking up and getting out of his slump a little bit last night. That was fantastic. He was very confident, and he was hitting really crucial big threes at really important times in the second half. So, Gary, thank you. Thank you for waking up and getting out of your slump last night finally. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, plus 9, 16 points for Gary Trent Jr., my 5th star of the game last night. There you go. So my 5 stars of the game, Siakam, Anunoby, Schroeder, Barnes, and Trent, with honorable mention to Chris Boucher also, who deserves it. And I could also put Malachi Flynn somewhere on that list too. Trevor J saying Raptors bench was very good last night. They came out and did their job. We need protection like this every night from the bench. I agree. We had a more fleshed out, equal kind of effort from the bench helping the starters. We've been very starter heavy in a couple of wins and games recently. But last night, we got good production from the bench with 34 points on the court from 3 different bench players. Chris Boucher with 10, Gary with 16, and Malachi with 8. Goose eggs for Otto and Grady. But those guys did their thing too with spacing and just being general 3-point threats. They help out in a lot of different ways anyway, with hustle and rebounds and stuff. But yeah, Chris Boucher, 4 for 4, came out and hit his first 3-pointer of the season. Nice to see Chris finally get a 3. 1 for 2 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 1 block, 5 fouls in 15 minutes, a +4 with 10 points. Chris was energy personified. Chris was playing the role player that he needs to be to help the Raptors be the best damn team they can be. That's that rebounder, Rodman kind of player out there mixing it up. You saw a moment where he got a rebound at one point, and he really impressed Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder came over and you could tell he was just saying, man, you're so good. I love what you just did underneath the basket, getting that rebound. Wow, Chris. He's like really giving him encouragement and as a leader on the court, Dennis. And Chris is awesome. And I love what Siakam said after the game in his press conference, saying that, Chris has been a little disappointed not getting to play every game, but he's kept himself ready. And he's played every practice like he's playing every game. So he's not letting it get in his head or let his effort go down just because he's holding his head. No. He stayed ready, and it shows. You get plugged in the game last night by Darko, and boom, instant energy, instant rebounding, instant presence, and even some nice, interesting scoring. Very loopy shots around the basket last night by Chris. Sometimes he makes crazy shots because of his body and how long he is. And at one moment, I said he looked like Iceman like Gervin because he was doing a little bit of a George Gervin scoop shot in the lane at one point. I'm like, what is that, Chris? You trying to be like Dr. J or an ABA player from the 70s with your little scoop shot in the lane with using your full length of your arms and woo, I'll go around with you and scoop shot. I love that. I love that play by Chris. So his offense was good. His energy was fantastic. And of course, the rebounding. You're rebounding. He's in there with 4 Mavericks, and he's the one getting a ball on the finger on the ball and still getting the ball. I love the effort. We wanted it more than the Mavs, especially on the rebounding side of things, for sure. We wanted it more than they did. That's for sure. Malachi, 15 minutes, 2 of 5 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. Those threes were timely, and they looked so good. They made us have confidence in him. I feel like he built confidence in himself. I mean, what is not to like? The man was not a drop-off with Kyrie defending him, with Dennis going to the bench. That's one thing is what we want from this backup point guard, to be a solid running the team while the starter is out, Dennis Schroeder, and just not have any kind of drop off. Play the really good defense on the point guard, the other side, Kyrie, and then, try and limit your turnovers, make plays happen, and make your open shots. And in some ways, that's what Malachi did last night very effectively and fine. 8 points off of 2 3-pointers and 2 free throws is fine. 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Fantastic. No turnovers. 4-0 assist to turnover ratio, a +7 for Malachi. I think most people can say we feel like he leveled up last night. I feel like he leveled up on some way, on a low-key way. It's like, wow, if it was a video game, he finally got those extra points that made him go to the next level. And maybe we can say he's a bona fide backup point guard going forward. We'll have to see if the consistency is there. We've always wanted him to just carry consistency from really good games like how we played last night. I mean, it's not like he was super, super great, but he was solid. And he wasn't like a detriment. And he actually really helped Dennis get some time and rest to close the game out by coming in and running around with Kyrie for a while. There was no point where Kyrie absolutely destroyed Malachi last night. He was destroying everybody just slightly with his amazing shots over our defenders and stuff. But he does that to everybody. And I feel like Malachi corralled him and kept up with running around with Irvin pretty good because that's not easy for anybody. And, Malachi didn't do a horrible job at all. As I said, Otto Porter, really good leadership, veteran kind of stuff late in the game. In some ways, he's like a guy who really just makes you feel confident in closing games because he knows what he's doing. He's out there and you're like, okay, this guy's played so many games. You have a confidence in him because he's a proven guy on the court. And then Grady, I love that they find minutes to get Grady in for a little while to get some experience and get some burn. He's out there mixing it up with Luka and Kyrie. That's got to be kind of a dream to him as a kid from Kansas. He's out there running around with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, and he's having a blast with it. There's not a lot to say about Grady last night, but he is getting in the game and he's getting more and more experience. And that's part of the development part of what Darko's trying to do. Yeah, that was awesome. Great job by the bench, Trevor J. This may be the best game the bench has had this year so far for us. Let's see. Tom Duke has got a menagerie of emoticons on his first comment of the day. He's doing the dap. He's got the door. He's got a dog. It's like OG's walking the dog. Okay. Siakam's walking the dog. Scotty's walking Cardi. We got Dennis walking the dog. We got Malachi walking the dog. Why are the dogs different? You actually have different dogs? This is weird. I've never seen this. Gary and Darko. Yeah. Everybody brought their dog. Okay. I got it. I get it now. Good morning, Raptorsfreak family. Way to go, team. You go, Tom Duke. You go to the airport and you come to Toronto next week. And we're going to go to some Raptors games. That's right, my friend. That's right. Trevor J saying we spend so much time sweating the small stuff, worrying, wishing, wanting, waiting for something bigger instead of focusing on the simple blessing that surround us every day. There you go. There you go. And mindset that you can have is like wanting when you can just feel like you have everything. In some ways, like there's always commercials or businesses that are out there trying to make you feel like you lack something. That's a business model. There's always effective. Like you say, do you need this in your life or you need this in your life? They want to sell you something. So they want to make you feel like you lack in your life. When in reality, a lot of people do not lack in their life. Sure, you need the basics: food, water, shelter, clothing, things like that. Sure. If you don't have those things, now I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people that have things pretty set up and their lives are pretty good. In some ways, if you have the basic necessities to live, you're okay. And they'll try and teach you and train you that you need more just to drive economics. So yeah, I like this. Let's stop sweating all this small stuff and think about, the basics. And if you've got those, you should feel grateful and very, very, living life in that kind of way. And stop looking at what you lack all the time. Sure, there's things in my life. If I could have them in my life, I would, but I don't. And that's just what it is. And in some ways, you just got to learn to accept that and stop always looking to see if the grass is greener on the other side, because it isn't. There's a kit and caboodle with every situation, and there's negatives and pluses for every situation. So just go in your situation and really enhance the pluses and don't key on the negatives. How about that? Thank you, Trevor J, with your words of wisdom. We're always trying to give life advice on how to live a happier life here on this channel. That's right. Dana's saying, good morning, everyone. Good morning to Canadian Dana. I am Canadian. I'm damn proud of my NBA Raptors team that went down to Dallas and kicked some ass. Yeah, against the Dallas Mavericks. That's right. MSJ saying, great game. I knew Pascal was the one to step up and score, but OG gave Luka nightmares. Nightmares. Yeah, Luka with his weird porn stash. I was trying to think of who does he look like? There's some sort of actor he looks like when he has just the mustache like he did last night. It's a very interesting look. I don't mind it. I think it's kind of cool. In some ways, you're growing up, Luka. You've got a real stash now. So you were growing up. You're not just this youngster who just showed up in the NBA all fresh-faced, baby-faced. Now you got a mustache. So now you got to get to work, young man. You're a man now. You're not a boy. That's right. There you go. Yeah, the mustache might give me nightmares, MSJ. That's what I'm saying there. Tom Duke has got the cowboy in the skillet. The cowboy in the skillet. They're going to go down there and kill it. You get OG, and Scotty, and Pascal. We played up against the Mavericks, and we kicked their real ass tricks. They don't got no winning anymore. Yeah. Sometimes country songs don't make sense. All right, that's just how it is. Yeah, let's keep it rolling. No Limp Bizkit free zone. All right, more than ever, Raptors basketball. now more than ever. Yes, Sue's here. Good morning, freaks. Good morning to Play It Again, Sue. I love Sue's channel. I was watching some of her clips yesterday. She did Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys. She did Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge. Sometimes I feel like I don't have the partner. Yeah. Good morning, freaks. What a great game. We played a total team game. Everyone did their part. We will be hard to beat if we have this level of team play. So proud of our boys. Yeah, see, it's not about what Kevin Pelleton and Zach Lowe and Tim Bontemps write in their stupid ass articles on ESPN or at Sports Illustrated. It's about the reality of the people that are on the team and what their potential is. And this is the thing. We've had this team like this for a couple of years now, and Nick has used it and utilized it in these ways. They call it the Nick Nurse terrorism. Well, that terrorism has not gone away. Our team is still roster built in a way that we have a lot of badass athletes that are very dangerous and crazy to play against. And the collection is still there, even with Fred and Nick gone. In fact, with Fred gone, it got better in some ways. But this is true, Sue. As long as our Raptors play together on defense and they are getting better with their chemistry on offense, we can beat anybody on any given night. It's really going to be like cutting down our mistakes as far as missing free throws and all the other stuff we can clean up, which we know we can. And then playing at a high level and meeting up against our opponents. One of the things that we really have that's a huge trump card that people keep bringing up is OG. Is that if you have a player like OG where you can put him on at the best player on the other team and negate them, that is a huge bonus to have. And it's a big reason why we can hang with anybody in the league and try and kick their ass. OG can shut down the number one player on the other team. If they have two players, well, we got Scotty or Precious for them, or even Siakam, who played absolutely great defense last night. You could see Siakam playing Luka at times last night too, and he was just like OG too. And so that's what I'm saying. In some ways, we can guide our destiny because we have the power in ourselves to make the games happen the way we want to with our huge size, length, speed, and athleticism. And I love it, Sue. It looked like two different teams out there. The Mavericks just didn't look like they were on the same kind of level of basketball as us last night with our physicality and our size compared to them. It really was almost like a high school team playing a junior high team. A little bit like that is what it looked like to me. Yeah, that's a diss. That's a diss. Yeah, then you don't have no Wemby. Y'all a bunch of short guys. You switched Wemby for Dwight Powell as the biggest guy for that team. Yeah, we're going to score on y'all and take you downtown, take you down the lane. That's right. MSJ saying, and Flynn, I've always said never give up on a fourth-year player who sucks. Laugh out loud. I was wrong. And he is looking good now. That third quarter with 3 was nice. Yeah, in some ways, that's the thing. In development, projects take a while, and they may look bad for quite a while. And sometimes people scrap a project too early when you're just about to get to the good stuff. And I feel like that's partly what's happening with Malachi. The promise has always been there. He's been doing everything right from behind the scenes. He's not a problem on the team. So let's just keep riding with the project. Maybe it'll hit one day. And that's what I'm saying. It could be really weird, the career arc of Malachi this year, that we may see him take off offensively in some games. I want to see Malachi get like a 20 to 30 point game very soon, just because he's so hot with his shot. We know he has this potential. We've seen him go to pro-ams in the summer and put 80 points up. So Malachi, what if you get in a little rhythm and you show us a little bit more? It's not that we'll expect this every night, but I'd love to see you get a 20 to 30 point game in the near future. And that will really make people feel like, okay, this is a good backup point guard for us. So that it's not that I want you to be selfish. I want you to get in the flow of the game, but you could get this real easy by going in the first half. When you get your first initial stint, hit your shots like crazy, and then Darko will play you heavy in the second half, and then all of a sudden you can get to 25 points. You can, but you got to be dialed in, and you got to be making your shot. If you don't make all your shots, then he won't probably do that. So you're gonna have to hit these shots. And boom, all of a sudden Malachi with 25 points. I want to see that coming up. I really do. I really do. Evelyn's here. Good to see Granny Swag. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Another round of lab tests for me today, but I got this. Let's go. I hope everything that you've got going medically goes amazingly well, Evelyn, and whatever ails you, heals you. Every single day, I want you to just get in better health and shape. We love you, Evelyn, and good luck at your appointment. Yeah, Tom's got prayers for you, and Sue's got a heart for you also. Fiercely's here. Good to see Fiercely Salsera. Good morning. Happy Thursday, fam. What a game. Congrats to the team for amazing collective effort. Wow. See, I love this. Like, Scott doesn't have to be the man and take over and be the leading scorer. Scott can do a lot of glue guy stuff on certain nights. If Siakam has a better matchup, he's going to be bully ball like he was last night. There you go. OG kind of filling in stuff and doing great things on the defensive end. And then the stuff he does on the offensive end, really, really nice too. Let me go look at the other starter. Jakob Poeltl didn't play a whole lot last night. 21 minutes. And, in some ways we didn't need him because the size of Dallas was so smaller. In some ways, we wanted to run small ball with them and just keep up with them. And Poeltl wasn't totally fitting into the style of this game. 2 of 5 for Poeltl. He missed his only free throw attempt. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 4 points. But yeah, he was just in there for a hot cup of coffee at the beginning of the game to establish things in the post presence or just being in the paint presence. And we went more with a small ball lineup as the game went on for most of it. Not that there really was anything to note of Poeltl in general. So yeah, the guys were great overall, and they all had their parts where they helped with what they did. Yeah, they all had their ways. Tom Duke saying, "You do indeed got this. You do indeed got this. That's right. You got it, Evelyn. You got whatever you got to face today at the doctor, and hopefully the test results or whatever you're getting done highly successful in the positive way." Fiercely saying, "No, Scotty Barnes slander will be tolerated. He didn't put up over 20 points, but was extremely impactful on the boards and assists. I was shouting, 'Yes, Scotty, go crazy.'" He did have one of those dunks where he's just like he's a big boy and he just throws it down all of a sudden. It's nasty. I was like, is Jeremy Sohan underneath the basket again? Because it looked like that dunk was of some ferocity. Nobody was under the basket on that one. But yeah, Scott's fun. In some ways, he really is able to do so much on the court at any given time to have a huge winning play, whether it's a steal, a block, a huge rebound, a big three, a drive to the basket and dunking it, or passing it to any of his teammates. He can do whatever it is that can help win this game for us. And you know what? He did. He did. He filled in a lot of the spots. It was Siakam's night. It really was. That matchup was too good to not continue to feed Siakam to just dominate those guys down low, those little babies, Grant Williams. So they needed to feed Siakam. So excuse me, Scotty critical people, for standing up for Scott on a night they decided to send all the water to Siakam. It's ridiculous. Scotty didn't really score in the first half. It was a very quiet first half. And in some ways, he made a reappearance of some of the stuff that was happening last year, where Scotty will disappear for like 2 or 3 quarters of the game. Well, in some ways, he kind of disappeared in the first half for a little while there. But I don't think it was anything too bad because we had people helping to carry us. But it definitely wasn't. It was more like Scott in his second year than the Scott we've seen so far in his third year at times last night in the game, where it's just kind of like he's letting the game go on around him, and he's not really putting his what he wants on the game as much as he should. In some ways, I don't know. Maybe he's letting the game come to him. Maybe it was a very concerted strategy that Darko said, "All right, Siakam, if you get these post shots, and I think you can, because this lineup's so small, their side is very suspect for size and being able to guard down low. We're going to go heavy on you." And then Scotty, you know what? Maybe you don't play as hard in the first half, but in the second half, you take us home. I was talking to Stillman about this in the comments in the Facebook chat for our group on Facebook. And I was saying this could very well be a strategy that was employed by the Raptors to say, Siakam, you really carry us in the beginning and Scotty will take us home. But it wasn't really Scotty who took us home. And he did do a couple of big moves late to really help us win for sure. But in some ways, it was more like Dennis here, Pascal here, OG here kind of stuff. More than just Scotty is taking over and we're going to win the game on his shoulders. Yeah, it was awesome. Sue's saying, glad Pascal had a great game. Hopefully it quiets the haters. I love what he said after the game. He said, he's like, look, I have a real supreme confidence in myself. And also, I love basketball and I'm malleable. And I'm not so stubborn and just a prima donna that I'm going to tell my coach I'm unhappy and I don't want to do what you're doing because it's totally different than what I did last year. He's a saint, honestly. The guy is really smart. And for the level of player that he is, he could have more airs to him and be a little bit more arrogant and a little bit more standoffish to change. I love the fact that Siakam understands that this is what he needs to do to stay on the Raptors. And he needs to form with Darko's system, and he's doing it. He's doing great. It's not really the point 0.5 system they ran last night. There was a lot more holding the ball, but it's like a happy medium between the point 0.5 and the over isolation of last year. That you do see Pascal getting opportunities to catch the ball and operate with it a little bit with some action, whether it's a dribble or just like a spin move or whatever he's doing, instead of having to like really look to pass right away. I love that they've amended that to a degree, because in some ways Siakam does need a little bit of time to handle the ball to get his offense going. He can't just be like catch and shoot or like, looking to make the pass all the time. That's why his Plinko chip has to land on his slot at the Price is Right. Every once in a while, he's got to come down and land in the Pascal slot so that he can take the shots. So all right, let's keep going. Seymour is saying, at no point did I think we were going to lose. 7:30 Mountain Time, Stalker. Laugh out loud. Convincing win. There you go. Seymour has been a range of emotions. He's like, I don't want to ever watch them for the rest of the year if they're going to lose like this to like Portland. And now, like with some wins and some success, he's like so confident of us. I love it, Seymour. I love it. And I love the game last night. In some ways, I was confident too. And it was really because of the advantages we had as a team collective over their team. I think Dallas is such a sham. I don't think they have any kind of legs. I don't care how good Luka and Kyrie are. If you don't have a good team around them with certain things, you're going to get your ass beat in the NBA. And that was shown last night by the Raptors. Yeah, you can't just have two superstars and just think, oh, we're going to win every night, Mark Cuban. Yeah, you need a little bit more than that. G saying they didn't double Pascal, big mistake, and he was able to operate. OG is a defensive player of the year. Scotty impacts winning. Dallas has horrible paint defense, and they exploited it. That's right. If they're going to have a team built like this, go and destroy it. That's what you got to do, Raptors. In some ways, they say it's a matchup game. Well, our matchup against them is real nice, and we really can wreck them. Yeah, they didn't double Pascal. In some ways, this may be something that we see more because of the emergence of Scott, because Scotty is like going to dictate he needs doubles too. It's like, well, how are you going to do the doubles with the Raptors? In some ways, you could say that OG might need doubles at time. Also, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And in some ways, Scott's emergence really helps Siakam. And we saw a bit of that last night. In some ways, the part of the reason why they weren't doubling is Siakam is because most of the Raptors, when they're out there, are all threats, and they can't leave them alone. This is what happens when you have good three-point shooters all out there around them. You can't go double off with Siakam because Grady, Otto, Gary, OG, Scotty, they'll all hit threes. So if we have good three-point shooting, in some ways, these guys aren't going to be able to double our guys as much, and we should be able to bully ball them like that. So, yeah, that was awesome. Scotty definitely impacts winning, and he wants to win, and I love it. And you know what? There was a moment in the game last night where I could tell Scotty was really kind of on cloud nine. Because, listen, this is his dream to play in the NBA, to be an NBA player. He loves the lifestyle. He loves his team. He loves his teammates. He just loves NBA lifestyle, and he has to pinch himself in the fourth quarter. Being up 10 points on a legend like Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic and where he's at in his life. It's like, dude, you are beating the Mavericks. You're beating a 6-1 team that's being touted by the NBA media machine right now. You're beating two of the greatest players to ever play in the NBA, and you're on top of them. You had to sit at the free throw line and just like think about, wow, look where you are, Scott. Your team is kicking ass. You're a big part of it. You have the big part in why we win, and you're beating Kyrie and Luka. At some points, you just got to pinch yourself, Scott. You're living that NBA life, that NBA dream, and that superstar dream as you evolve. It's so cool. It is so cool. I love it so much. Let's see. Yeah, Dallas, very horrible in the paint, and they deserve to get beat like that because of their roster construction. Nako saying Eric Flynn is out there somewhere writing Darko a Christmas card. Eric Flynn may really love Darko by the end of this season because he may actually get Malachi's career out of the mud by the end of this year. Could there be hope that Malachi, not that he's going to be like Desmond Bane, but can he get closer to Desmond Bane? Maybe, possibly. The guy who got Desmond Bane to Desmond Bane is our head coach now. So we'll have to see. Desmond Bane loves Darko, and it could very well be the Flynn family is sending Christmas cards to Darko soon. Very soon. Yeah. Fiercely saying, Pascal haters, please shut the up. Spicy P was cooking. I love this presser where he said, "Those who know him know." Yes, Pascal. We know Cool Cat knows him. We know Fiercely Salsera knows him. We know the Raptor freaks know Siakam. And we know Siakam is who he is. That's right. Him. He was him last night. Who was the leading scorer in the game last night? Who had the most points? I believe it was Luka and Pascal with 31 points each. Kyrie only 22. Yeah, that's a big, big time. And like I said, Siakam's not just doing it on the offensive end. His defense has been fantastic in the last couple games also. I want to put a shine on that. Everyone's going to talk about OG Defensive Player of the Year, Scotty emerging, Precious is a great defender, this person, that person. More people need to talk about Siakam on defense also. And so we're going to put that out there too. Somebody's car sounds like shit outside. Holy crap. Really bad. Yeah, I love that. Sue's saying Scotty was outstanding. He was so important last night. He did way more out there than scoring. He was a beast. So much energy and great on the boards. This is true. So true, Sue. The glue guy. Listen, Scotty, you don't have to be the guy who carries every night. Siakam can carry some nights. And in some ways, this allows our team to not get so worn out. You know, when you have superstars like Luka and Kyrie, they have to carry every night, or Mavericks aren't going to add up to winning. And if there's nights where Siakam doesn't have it or Scotty doesn't have it, maybe OG and Gary do. You know, I love that we have different options. And on some nights, some of them will not play well, and others will hopefully step up in their place and carry us. You know, we can afford to have a dud game from Siakam from time to time. We can afford to have a dud game from OG from time to time because we have enough people around our team that hopefully are picking up the slack otherwise. Yeah. I feel like Scotty was really good all around. I love the rebounding, Sue. So fun. And he's really fundamentally good at it because he goes up with two hands and he rips it down. Him and Chris are really good rebounders. Like, I love rebounding. I really did love Dennis Rodman. And I really watched how he tipped the ball to himself to get the ball. There's some of that kind of stuff going on with Boucher and Barnes when they rebound. They're very, very good rebounders, both of them. Carl Otts is here, and he's got me on blast. Let's go, Carl Otts, holding it down in the ATL, the Hotlanta. Yeah, I love you, brother. And I'm so happy when you check in with us on the stream. I miss you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys around Christmas. G saying Boucher was huge for us this game too. Yeah, underrated star in this game. Not a lot of minutes, but huge impact and really, really good stuff. That's what we want. These guys need to make their minutes count and produce. We don't want these goose egg stat lines on our bench where it's just like all across zeros. No, if you're not going to score, get rebounds. If you're not going to get rebounds, get assists, get steals, get blocks. Make things happen, bench. Because in some ways, that's what bench production is. You don't have to score necessarily. But if you're stat stuffing and you're doing other things, that really helps a lot. It really, really helps. Trevor J is saying that both LA teams got heartbroken last night. Yeah, this is interesting. The Lakers are not meshing, is what they're saying. They're not together on the same page. They're having trouble meshing. And they got beat by the Houston Rockets and Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks last night. Dylan Brooks and LeBron having a little get together at the middle of the court and just talking to each other in the middle of the game last night. Pretty funny clip. I can only imagine what they're saying to each other. Some major, major trash talk. And I'm sure LeBron probably tried to say some shit, but look who won. Villain Dylan and the Rockets blowing out the Lakers by 30 last night. Woohoo! Woo! Whoa! La la land! La 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 la. And then meanwhile, the Clippers continue their New York tour of losing. They lost to the Knicks the other day, and they've lost their second game with James Harden available against the Nets last night. So yeah, you tell me. In some ways, I'm really starting to think this, y'all, that the Eastern Conference is way better than Western Conference this year on the down low, and that a lot of the Eastern Conference teams are going to be beating Western Conference teams that they had no business beating. Just like we beat them last night, the Mavs, just like the Nets just beat the Clippers. These are surprise upset wins. And I have a feeling that teams in the East are built a certain way for physicality and certain things. In the West are kind of like being half-assed about defense at this point. A lot of the teams out West are not valuing getting defensive teams. In some ways, they want star power, like the Clippers or the Lakers, and they don't necessarily have defense or good team systems. they're going to be called out by good Eastern teams. So we'll have to pay attention to East versus West as far as matchups and see how much more the Eastern Conference is beating the Western Conference this year. Because for some reason, I'm getting that feeling. When you see the Nets beat the Clippers like they did last night, it really makes you start to think that. MSJ saying Darko is a real coach, a real one. He had the right game plan. Have Pascal score, have OG and Barnes switch on Luka in the second half on the high screen. They used to set Luka free. Flynn on Kyrie. Wow. I know. I feel very confident in our coach already without even playing 10 games so far. I love what he did with the adjustments against San Antonio on Sunday. It really, really was a huge part of why we won that overtime game against the Spurs. And, there were signs last night that his coaching acumen and adjustments and just the decision to go with Siakam the way he did last night over and over again, really, really smart, really, really smart. Don't overthink it. Don't be like, oh, well, we have this. Let's save it for later and use it later. No, use it now and go to it over and over again. In some ways, I felt like Nick would see good things like what Siakam was doing. They're like, all right, we don't want to beat him over the head with it. We'll save it for when a crucial moment when we need it. No, fuck that. If you can beat them in the low post like that every single time, do it every time down the court, and boom, Siakam has 31 points. So, yeah, I love the job he's doing, and he's a bona fide real good coach. I mean, he's got the Popovich seal of approval. Popovich saying he's underrated, and he's going to be somebody that people are going to talk about as being one of the best coaches in the league in the next few years. Once again, Masai and Bobby know what they're doing. They don't hire a coach to miss. Let's just put it that way. They don't hire a coach to miss. Sue's saying that tip out Boucher had over Luka was amazing. Yeah, that was just pure effort, not giving up. He was bending and kind of horizontal and over this way. And Luka, yeah, and he got the foul called on him. And Dennis was very proud of Chris last night. Very, very proud. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor crew. I love our fast-paced game. Use our athletic long limbs players to our advantage. Great game, Raptors. It's a joy to watch them in transition right now. You see them fill in the lanes. It really makes you realize that Nick was squandering some of our really good talent last year by really making a game that wasn't conducive to getting them connected more. It was really dumb. In some ways, I knew this last year. I was like, Nick, you could get so much more out of our players if you played them differently, but you're such a strict person to your idea of what they should be doing that you're really not utilizing them effectively to get the most out of them. And I feel like in some ways that's a difference this year. It's like Darko is utilizing these guys in smart ways instead of being such a strict, dogmatic coach. This is my dogma and you follow my dogma and that's it. And if you don't, you're not going to fucking play. I'm going to bench you. That's the thing. In some ways, we could have unlocked a fast break or these guys doing better things like this last year better if Nick had fucking coached them better. In some ways, this is the area where I feel like he was governing us, just like you put a governor on an engine so he can't go over speeds. That's what I felt like Nick was doing to us on the down low so that he could get himself out the fucking door to go to Philly to be with Morey. It really was like a sabotaging season last year, that we are way better than we were last year, and Nick was holding us back. Now we have a coach that's pushing us forward, and we're seeing how good we can be on the court like we were against Dallas last night. It is infuriating in some ways when I think about how much we wasted time the last 2 years with Nick in his bullshit dogma system and how he made them follow certain things and they really weren't unleashed or utilized correctly. It makes me mad in some ways, but hopefully we fix this because we fired him and we got the new coach that is showing the fruits of what is possible with us. Yeah, there you go. Great game, Cool Cat. I love you. So happy to see you. Fiercely saying Ben Taylor is straight up garbage. All right, let's do a ref manipulation check with the game last night. There were a lot of different interesting little incidents. One of the incidents early that pissed me off was the basket that Jakob made when they simultaneously called a foul. They should never have waved that off. And I hate that. That's such a dirty manipulation. There's a foul off the ball. Meanwhile, Jakob is laying a ball in and making 2 points. Well, they say no foul, and then the foul isn't even a shooting foul. So they take it to the out of bounds, and we have to inbounds it. Well, we inbounds it, and we don't get a good play, and we miss a 3, and that we're erased 2 points that we had on the board that should have been scored just because a foul was simultaneously called at the same time. That's so fishy to me. That is so fishy. And then in the next 5 minutes, the scorekeeper in Dallas decides to give 2 of our points to the Mavericks on the score. And it's 24-12. And I was like, no, it's 24-14, it's 22-14, motherfuckers. And they were even fighting over that. And then there was an offensive charge call on Siakam that was very, very fishy also. That's one of the new ref manipulations is the offensive charge shit. They really fuck you up with calling charges at weird times in different places. Yeah, there were a lot of bad calls last night. Ben Taylor, we have a good winning percentage when he's around, but in some ways, I don't get it because he's not necessarily a nice ref to us, and he is kind of full of shit. But we win when he's around, so I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to be like, all right, we won. He was there. He's the ref. We won though, even if his calls are shitty and they're annoying. Sean Wright is more annoying than Ben Taylor in some ways, and I had no problem with Jenna Renault. Jenna Renault was pretty good last night. There was a kick ball that went our way. There were a couple of calls that were 50-50 that they actually did call for us. It could have been called the other way, but there was a lot more called against us too. And the lack of foul calls in the game last night was very interesting. They were really letting them play like crazy. There were very few free throws shot in that game overall for either team, but by the half. But in the end, they start shooting a lot more free throws, and then they kind of even it out with us. And where we got, what was it? Team stats? I'll go look at them real quick. I think we had 27 free throws, and they had 31. So in the end, they only got 4 more free throws than us. But it looked like there was a huge discrepancy between that. Now, luckily, they shot just as bad as us at the free throw line. In fact, watching Kleber shoot free throws is hilarious. It is. It's pretty hilarious. So, yeah, the refs were pretty bad. I would say Ben Taylor was okay. I mean, the one thing I'll have to give him credit is when we did do the challenges really quickly in a row, that was fun and interesting. We won both of them right away, and it was undeniable. That definitely they touched the ball on the out of bounds, and the other play was also challenge was successful. So at least he admitted his mistakes at the challenge table and switched them. Some of the other refs will be cocky and arrogant and be like, no, I wasn't wrong. And they'll justify why they did what they did. So I think the worst play in some ways was that Jakob one I talked about earlier, where they called the foul simultaneously when he made the layup. And then the one where Dennis got touched in the face. That was kind of messed up too. They should have probably called something on that. Cowboy's here. Good to see Cowboy. Good morning, Lex and Raptors Freaks. Let's fucking go. Cowboy, I know you weren't here yesterday, but I made a song up about you called The Cowboy and the Skillet. We're going to go to Dallas and kill it. And it was true. You're number one hit on the country charts now. The Cowboy and the Skillet. It's a new song. You may hear it more on this channel. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, refs thought Fred VanVleet was on our team. Man, that whistle was sloppy. Laugh out loud. Yeah, a lot of people critical of the whistle. It's not just propagandist fans like me. They say, oh, you always blame the refs, Lex. No. Orrin Weisfeld, Doug Smith, Paul Jones, everybody chiming in about how bad the refereeing was last night. So we see we're not crazy. Don't gaslight us and say you're just making shit up. You're a conspiracy theorist, Raptors Freaks. No, because the mainstream media is saying it too, that the refs were screwy and kind of off and weird last night. They really were. Let's see. Cowboys saying my 5 stars go to Darko. Yeah, he played a royal flush on the Mavericks. I love that. Cowboy, you're getting a dunk for that. You're giving it the 5 stars to Darko. I love it. And also you got Pirtle, Siakam, OG, Scotty, and Dennis, the starting 5 of the Raptors there. David Saborin's here. Good morning, David. Shout out to Chris Boucher and Malachi Flynn. That's like respect. Malachi Flynn, at one moment last night, like I said, I feel like we got a backup point guard. Finally. And Chris, just energy personified. That's right. Fiercely saying, peaked of the Mavericks fan nation pages, some complaints on repeat, freak fire kid, Luka keeps crying for fouls and doesn't help our team. Luka hogs the ball. Powell sucks. We need Lively to play. So this is what they're saying in Dallas. They really are kind of talking about how they need to fire a kid. I mean, I get it. I would do that. Mark Cuban, you can get a way better coach than Jason Kidd. I'm sorry. He's a pretender in some ways. He kind of gets by on his playing career. I've never thought he was a good coach. Never, ever thought he was a good coach. I think that would be a good start for them to fire Jason Kidd. Luka's Luka. They're going to have to deal with Luka being Luka. It's not like they can change him. They're invested in him. He's their guy. You get what you get, the whole package with him. Yeah, he's a ball hog. Yeah, he cries to the refs a lot. That's just who he is. So get used to it, Mavericks fans. But Powell, I love Powell. He's a great defensive player. Casuals will look at him and be like, what the fuck? But no, he does some good stuff. In fact, I like Powell more than ever now after Team Canada this summer. I saw the things he did to help our country win that bronze medal, and he's a hero to me. I used to hate Dwight Powell. I used to think he was a big goof and he sucked. And he was like a traitor because of the way he played against the Raptors. But when I saw him play for Team Canada this summer, he won me over and made me a big fan of his. His game is ugly. He's not going to score a lot, but he's doing a lot of intangibles. And I'm going to tell you right now, Mavericks fans, you want to get rid of Dwight Powell, then you ain't got nothing down low. You ain't got nothing down low. You're going to be even worse. He may be the only thing helping y'all down low right now without your big rookie being out there. And yeah, you need him. Just trust me. You need Powell. You need Powell, and you do need Lively to play. That's right. MSJ saying Flynn is the 7th star of the game yet again. He is. He was. Chris is 6th, and then Flynn 7th. Yeah, that's accurate. Randolph saying, good morning, Raptors fans, Raptors freaks, beloved Raptors freaks. Most informative gang. That's the kind of contentment that we need as fans. That win last night was another reflection of our team's growth. Yeah, and the potential. Seriously, we see how we lose to Chicago and Portland earlier this season. We get down in the dumps. We're like, well, this is going to be a long season. Wow, are we going to lose games like this all year? And then we win a game like last night in the San Antonio game. We're like, wow, we have unlimited potential also. It really is kind of a, whoa. There's like a graphic on Raptors Twitter that's going around saying Raptor season fans. It's like, whoa, and it's like all up and down and shit. That's why we just need to be even keeled. It's what they preach to the players, the coaching staff. It's like, don't get too up, don't get too down. Just go even keeled through the season. And Raptors fans be like that. It's not good to be bipolar with how the games are going. Sure, I feel real good right now, and I'm going to enjoy the high of a fantastic win over the Dallas Mavericks last night. But in some ways, I'm not getting ahead of myself. And in some ways, I got to temper my winning with losing and all that kind of stuff and take it as it comes. In some ways, that's the fun of it. We had no expectations going into this game last night, and we were rewarded with joy. And that's something that Raptors fans may just need to do on a game-by-game basis this season. Have no expectations. Sure, if we're going to play Washington very soon, we better beat Washington's ass. I get that. But when we play big teams like Philly or Boston or Dallas, going in with no expectations, you can come out with a lot of feeling good like last night. Thank you for the blessings. Randolph Phillips, blessings to you and the Phillips family and everybody else, Raptors Freak family all around the world. That's right. Sue's saying those 2 threes Flynn got were very important. Yeah, they were in crunch time. They were around the time when Kyrie was trying to take over and hit threes himself. Well, Malachi had answers for him. And in some ways, that's ballsy and gutsy to do it in the crunch time, especially with a top 75 of all time player like Kyrie guarding you and really trying to get in your head. There was some trash talk there too, where Kyrie was trying to mess with him. And Malachi looked strong and didn't take it. He was unflappable. It was very, very good. Very, very good. Fiercey's got Siakam and OG on blast. It really was. They were the 1-2 punch. We had a bit of a OG and Barnes 1-2 punch on Sunday. Well, we had the Siakam and OG punch last night with Scotty being more of a facilitator and rebounder. Cowboys got us on blast. Mo and me on blast. We love the super fan Monique Lawrence, and she is coming in here right now. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Stars of the game, Pascal, OG, Gary, Scotty, and Chris. Malachi, Dennis. How sweet it is. She does not have a limit to her stars. She's got like 8 of them there. I love it, Monique. How sweet it is indeed. Yes, it is. Fiercey's got Dennis, Malachi. Malachi's in the chat this morning. I see he's got an emoji this morning. I love it. And there's Chris too. I love it, Tom. I love that we get our guys coming in the game off the bench, just like in the game and in emoticons. Special mention. I love it, Fiercey. That's a good special mention for Dennis, Malachi, Gary, and Chris, and Darko. Seymour saying, who else enjoyed the Flynn versus Kyrie show? Woof, woof. Yeah, that's kind of what you want to gauge the litmus test to. You're playing against a Hall of Famer. You're playing against one of the most unstoppable players in this league. You're playing against one of the greatest ball handlers in the league. When you go in that battle, can you hold your own? Can you look like you belong? Can you look like you're not getting totally schooled? Can you try and play good defense and try and contain them? Can you make your own shots at the other end of the court? Malachi, good job. Thumbs up, buddy. Good job. And keep going in that direction. That's right. David's saying, who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Patrick Beverly. Who let the dogs out? See, I really want to play Philly again, when we got our shit together. And it's no this bullshit early season. It's the second night of a back-to-back. When we play them on a night that's not a back-to-back, the next time we play them, I want to see the real test. Because I feel like they gave you a couple gifts, Nick Nurse. Yeah, I feel like they gave you a couple gifts. And our dog pound is going to come in there and bite the hell out of Patrick Beverley with wins and shots. That's right, Patrick Beverley. You're going to see which dog we got. That's right. David saying, I love beating Luka and his sour-ass little face. Did you like his mustache? That was pretty styling. I was like, what does he remind me of? He reminds me of like some sort of British show where he's like, I feel like he would be on the British Office with his look. He looks like he would be on the British Office. He's not a main character on the British Office. He's like a guy sitting in the back in the corner, like just kind of at his desk. That's who he looked like to me. A character on the British Office, not on the American Office. On the British Office. It's because his haircut's a little weird and his mustache is very European. So I think he would be an extra on the British Office. Yeah, the one with whatchamacallit, Ricky Gervais. Yeah, that one. Let's see. Fiercey Salsera saying 32 people watching, only 4 likes. Smash the like button. Thank you, Fiercey. Cowboy saying everyone played good. I felt like everybody who touched the floor played good. Jalen McDaniels, the odd man out. We're seeing more and more the levels of rotation that Darko employs. He's got his starting 5, which is a solid starting 5, and it has not really changed. We've got the regular starters, Dennis, Scotty, OG, Pascal, and Jakob. And then off the bench, we're getting different tiers of guys. You know, if Precious was healthy, he'd be in a regular every time, kind of like Gary. I really kind of see them at the same spot as the first 2 guys off the bench. Malachi's kind of next. And then after that, it's kind of like he chooses which ones he wants to put in on a night-by-night basis. It seems like he's very heavily favoring playing Grady every night. But then you got the 3 guys that are kind of come in and out. And that's Jalen McDaniels, Chris Boucher, Otto Porter Jr. And they're kind of like semi-rotation is what I'll call it, semi-rotation, which means on a given night, if they're not one of the 10 that's playing, they may be the odd man out, like McDaniels was last night. So there's like rotation, starters, and semi-rotation. And semi-rotation, Chris Boucher, Otto Porter, and Jalen McDaniels, and even Grady Dick to a degree. But then the guys are definitely in on rotation are Malachi, Gary, and Precious. It seems like Malachi's getting in every game for sure. Every game for sure. Isaac saying bench is getting their fair chance now. That's what is different from last year. Going to just get better and better. Defense wins championships in 2024. Well, the really important thing is the balancing of talent with the bench guys. And I said this last year. To with Nick and criticizing him. It's like you can't sub out your whole starting lineup and put in a hockey rotation where you put in a whole new line from the bench. Because the drop off between your talent from your starters to the bench is so evident and it is so bad. And we turn leads into like double-digit deficits with the bench coming in last year at some point. And what he really has done, Darko, to fix this, and this is what I said last year, is he's really mixed and matched the starters with the bench correctly. And most of the time, you'll see if there's 3 bench guys out there, they'll be out there with Scotty and Pascal. And it's like, okay, well, they are okay because they've got 2 really top-level guys on our team out there. Or if it's not Pascal and Scotty, it'll be OG and Pascal. You know, they're always keeping at least 2 of the top players on the team. If not, they'll have at least one of them for sure. But there'll be at least 2 starters out there always. It could be. I like how he kind of seems to naturally pair guys that naturally should play together, like OG and Scotty, like Jalen McDaniels and Malachi Flynn, like Pascal and Pirtle. You'll see that often Siakam is out there with Pirtle at the times when they're out there together. Because in some ways they have a lot of time together and they have a body of work that they can work off of from when they were younger and now. So, yeah, it's interesting. The balance between the starters and the bench when we go into bench minutes is way better this year. We're not seeing ineptitude and kind of dumbness with the bench unit coming in and just having a real downturn in the game for us. Yeah, Seymour saying, thank you, Fiercey. That's a big, big plus in the difference with Darko as our coach. Yeah, smash the like button. Thank you, Cowboy. Nameless is saying, Iceman like Flynn is the minutes police. Well, I'm on neighborhood ref watch. There you go. We can make up new superfluous labels, nameless. I'm all about that. Yeah, minutes police is Iceman like Gervin. And I don't know how much minutes policing he's going to be doing this year. I mean, let's go look at it real quick just for fun, just like we would have last year. The only person like Scotty got 39 minutes, but he's a youngster. He can run like the forever. So him playing 39 minutes, I don't get upset about that. Siakam 37 minutes. That's better than 40 minutes last year. Anunoby 36 minutes. I can take this. This isn't that bad. 30 minutes for Schroeder. Okay. And then 26 minutes for Gary Trent. And this is the thing. I tell people, who cares if Gary starts or not? He's getting more minutes than Jakob off of the bench. And in some ways, it's like strategy who starts. It's not about, oh, we want the best players to just start in the starting lineup. No, you want to have strategy and reasoning to why you do it. You need Jakob to establish paint presence and do good things at the beginning. You need scoring off the bench. Well, Gary's your guy. And he gets just as many minutes. He ends the games playing. He hits big shots. He gets a lot of points. It doesn't matter if he starts or not. He had the 5th most minutes on the team last night. Yeah, there you go. Neighborhood ref watch. All right. I'm in on that. I want to be in charge of that too, Nameless, because of my expertise on the referees. I really do study them very well. In fact, one of the things I did last night was take note of who had the guts to throw Giannis out in the 3rd quarter last night, because that's not common. I've talked about this on this channel. And some of these golden boys do not get thrown out. They'll get like a technical, but they really get a lot of leeway to not get that second technical to keep them in the game. Well, who had the balls to toss Giannis Antetokounmpo in the 3rd quarter after a taunting call off of a dunk in transition? It was Scott Twardowski. And I'm keeping track of this. In some ways, he's bucking that golden boy principle. If Luka gotten a technical in the first half and he got a second technical in the 3rd quarter, or he should have got one, would they call it and actually throw him out because of the big marketing, the big star? You don't want to throw him out too early. Well, they did that last night. They threw Giannis out in the 3rd quarter. Who had the guts to do that? Scott Twardowski. Yeah, I paid attention. I made note of that. So in some ways, you're my new hero, Scott Twardowski, because you will throw out a top NBA golden boy in the 3rd quarter with still a quarter and a half to go. I mean, they'll do it to us. They'll throw our main guys out. They threw Fred out 5 minutes into the 3rd quarter last year in one game. So it's like, yeah, they can do this. They better do it to people like Giannis, Luka, Jason Tatum. Yeah, Joel Embiid. Yeah. Monique is saying back-to-back wins on the road. Nothing more sweeter. It's a Texas two-step, baby. Yeah, and my boogie. Yeah, we're doing a little Texas two-step. That's right. David Saborn saying, hey, YouTube, where are those memberships? David, I'll say this. Even if those memberships didn't get granted to somebody, the money still came to the channel. So don't worry about it. I think those memberships went to people. Let's just believe that. I know you're worried about 2 memberships from yesterday, but I think that they did end up going to people. Maybe they just didn't announce it. I don't know. Either way, I'll check for sure on my channel stats and make sure that that money is in the right place as far as where you wanted it to be. Yeah. Stargate saying all these Pascal overcritical tradeaholics look real nonsensical today, don't they? I told all of you, give the team 10 to 15 games to figure the new system, new style out, play out. Yeah, Stargate, thank you. And continue to be a voice of reason. We need more time to get more information. Well, in some ways, we got more information the last 2 games. And we see the potential is there. We see that this team, as they cohesively get more together, they have a lot of potential by the time April comes around. So let's let them be a work in progress and win and lose as they're supposed to, and just enjoy the ride. I love it. And you're right, Stargate. In some ways, it's like, why do y'all want to trade Siakam? Did you see how overpowering and such a weapon he was last night? Don't you want to have more weapons on this team? Are you a Celtics fan that's telling us to trade Siakam? That seems like it. Sometimes I feel like it's the fans of the other team that are coming in here telling us to trade Siakam. It's not even the real fans of the Raptors. Nameless is saying it's not Scotty's worst game this far. That's laughable. Scotty and Pascal are going to alternate depending on the opposing team's game plan. That's the correct answer you're looking for. There you go, Nameless. Exactly right. Exactly right. Sometimes the water gets diverted more to OG. Sometimes it gets diverted more to Gary. Sometimes it gets diverted more to Scotty. Sometimes it gets diverted more to Pascal. Sometimes it's going to get diverted to Dennis. So, yeah, Raptors fans, just as long as we're winning, that's the only stat that should matter. Get over your individual stat hunting and analyzing and accounting. Who the fuck are you, Ernst & Young? And you're fucking doing an audit on the Raptors box score. And it's like, oh, this doesn't line up for Malachi today. Oh, we better call the senior accountant of Ernst and Young, and we're auditing the stupid box score. You fucks, just fucking stop over analyzing, over critical. Let me go and over analyze the box score real quick for y'all. First, we'll do the team stats because it was awesome. We shot way more shots than them. We got 15 more shots on the field goals, which is fantastic. That's a sign of effort. That's second chance. That's getting the loose balls. It's all kinds of stuff. 49 for 99, 49.5% from the field overall. We did outshoot better than them. They were 48%. We were 49. 3-pointers, 11 3-pointers for us, 17 for them. They did beat us at the 3-point line, and it was a little scary, but it really was. We made more shots overall. We only made one less free throw point than them, and we both shot really bad. They shot 61% from the free throw line. We shot 67%. So we could have been way better at the free throw line, but they could have too. And that might actually be something that they really got to work on too. We way out rebounded them 50-38. That was actually very dominating. The paint stuff, like the points in the paint, 72-40. That is insane. That is like not letting them, like we just dominated in the paint. We got 72 of our 127 points in the paint. I love that. I love that so much. So many teams have been stacking the paint against us and keeping us out. Well, you see when they don't do that, you see how much we can feast on them. We can feast. I love it. We out assisted them 27-25. I love that we're getting over 25 assists still consistently. 10 steals with 4 blocks. That's fantastic. We only had 12 turnovers. In fact, this is on the down low, a big part of why we won. We really limited our turnovers last night. We took care of the ball very well, and that didn't allow Dallas opportunities in transition. So really, really good job taking care of the ball, guys, collectively. Dennis, Malachi, Scotty, Pascal, OG, all you guys. I don't think any of y'all had egregiously high turnovers numbers. It's like sometimes Scott will have a 5 turnover game, but that wasn't like that last night. I know Malachi had 0 turnovers. Dennis had only 2. Scotty had 0. So yeah, really, really good job by the guards. Gary had 0 turnovers, really not causing any turnovers. So like overall, the Raptors taking care of the ball was a big, big part of it. Yeah. Monique is saying Matt Bonner did great. Matt Bonner? Where was Matt Bonner? What are you talking about, Matt Bonner? Was he? I know Devin Harris calls the game for Dallas. Where was Matt Bonner? I forget where Matt Bonner is. He was he was on the announced crew for San Antonio on Sunday, right? No, Sean Elliott was there. I don't even know why you're bringing up Matt Bonner. I don't know. I'm confused. Loic is saying congratulations. He's happy. We just beat one of his division rivals. You know, Toronto can be a team to help y'all, Spurs. And we can come and mess up some of those Western teams, other Texas teams. You'll love seeing us beat the Rockets. Yeah, you'll love us beating the Mavericks. So there you go. Loic is becoming a Raptors freak after his Spurs fandom. And I love it. Good to see you, Loic. David's saying Scotty had a 14, 14, and 7 and 6 block steals combined. It's all ridiculous. Yeah, Loic, bam. Nice to see Spurs fan. Yeah, W to Loic. Yeah, I know. Casuals. What are you talking about? Why do you want to talk about that about Scotty like that? You're saying, oh, Scotty had his worst game this season. Well, this is his worst game. That's fantastic. This is the best game for most guys in this league. This is the best game for a lot of guys. If they had that stat line that Scotty had last night, that would be like their career game of their whole life. Yeah. Name's the same, but you people live in your own world and continue to slander Siakam and such, whatevers. It's not us. Don't direct it at us. We know the Siakam haters are outside of the Raptors Freak family. People love Siakam on this channel. We love him, and we're so happy and proud of him for last night. We really are. Yeah, who's slandering Siakam? That's right. David's saying, who's that? No, none of us. Yeah, everybody wants to trade this guy. Listen, I'm flexible as to what needs to happen. In some ways, it's a very possible thing that it may be smart to trade him and get good players for him. But when you see a game like last night, you're like, wow, I'd like to hold on to him. Some ways it has to do with this too. And that may totally decide this too. Is like Masai and Bobby trying to figure out who's getting what slices of what pies and how big those slices of pies are going to be. Tough decisions are going to have to be made. So it's not even that, you know, if we could have everybody on the team, that'd be fantastic. Go on the luxury tax and use bird rights. But as some people have said, our ownership may not be into that. So we'll have to figure out what happens. with the big contracts and the extensions and stuff. And so we're going to be open to him possibly getting traded still. In some ways, this is good because his trade value's up as of last night. That's for sure. I don't know. I don't want to trade him in my heart, but in my mind, I know that might be the right move. Does that make sense? Fiercely saying only negative point free throws shooting. Yeah. Yeah. These guys got to do better at the free throw line, but Dallas was just as bad. Worse, actually. MSJ saying Scotty didn't have a bad game, dumbasses. Poor shooting night, but hey, huge on D. That's right. It's phrasing. I would say this. He's not always going to be a big scorer or like put himself in those kind of ways. In some ways, he picks his spots. And I really do feel like he does kind of lay back on certain nights with not as much energy earlier in the game so that he can be prepared later to do big things when it really matters to take it home. There's some players in this league that don't turn it on until it really matters. And they feel like something's got to happen. Kyrie, to an extent, is kind of like this. In some ways, you could see Kyrie be more dominant on the court all throughout the 4 quarters, but he kind of waits. And this is why the Mavericks have been winning the way they have, is they get down by double digits to a team like Orlando, and then Luka and Kyrie just try and overwhelmingly be offensive crazy, and they just overwhelm and outscore them by the end. So that it is kind of like a wait and see kind of thing with some of the superstars where they're like, I'll show up later, but in the first quarter, I'm gonna let you guys try and figure it out. And I think that's kind of what Scott did last night. In some ways, he's like, I know we're gonna center around Siakam because of a mismatch, and I'll just kind of lay back and I'll save my energy for the second half. That's the feeling I got from him last night. David saying, no idea who those people are, but it ain't me. I don't believe in numbers on a paper. Watch the fucking game. Oh, David is so cut. He's just no bullshit, man. I love it. I love it. Well, Gerald brought the comment about it, and I just wanted to respond to it. I think we're maybe overinflating it because it's probably just one dumb person that he read one dumb thing from. I don't think there's many people out there that are really dissing Siakam heavy today. They're really, really seriously. All right, let's see. I want to get back to the right spot. Good to see Shere Khan's with us today. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Wow, you guys did fill it up. I love it. We got a lot to say today. That's for sure. All right, where is David's statement that I just read? Okay, here we go. Tom Duke's got the butthole face out. Nameless is saying, see him roll his eyes inside the reporter for mentioning it post game. Who are you talking about? That's what he thinks of everybody's opinion about him. Siakam. Yeah, he had a really good post game interview. Of course, I didn't get to watch it, but just like a minute before I came on here. And I haven't really had a time to digest it or think about it. Raptors admin, you really failed last night. My God. I'm glad you got it up just before the stream, but still, not enough time for me to watch the Darko interview. Let's see. Loic saying Raptors points in the paint, 72. Yeah, they ain't got nobody down there. When y'all play the Mavs, y'all need to do that to them too. Just go down there real like big. Zach Collins the hell out of them. Seriously. Zach Collins could be like a superstar against that team. I'm telling you, the Mavericks got nobody down low. Tom Duke saying Siakam rules on offense and defense. I like that. Monique saying Otto moving so well out there. He's very smart with his energy. He could go all out in certain ways, but he's measured and he's smart in some ways. And he is moving well. I'm a little worried about him being slow, him being a little bit older, him being on the shelf for all last year, how he can keep up, whether he plays at the NBA level like he did for the Warriors 2 years ago. And he is. I don't see any signs of him like being a detriment because of maybe not moving as quickly because he's older or has been hurt. So, yeah, good point, Monique. Otto has looked good out there as far as the way he's moving around. And that may be a big part of like why they ramped him up safely coming in and like not trying to overuse him is partly that's why he looks good is we didn't rush it. Let's see. Tom Duke has got Siakam on blast. Nako saying Gary got a flop tech and he didn't even fall. Okay, yeah. I'm glad you brought that one up, Gary. Gerald. Yeah, that was a messed up call. That was a really dumb call. In some ways, like the announcer said, if he got hit and he's flailing his arms a little bit like that, that's why they called it. Is because he flailed his arms. They're supposed to be looking for over-exaggerated movements, but I don't think that was over-exaggerated. In fact, you could make this argument, and I'll bet you this might happen. That they're going to go back and look at it and they're going to rescind it. And that Gary is not going to get fined the $2,000 for the flop because that's the thing. That is not just a flopping foul. They fine him for a technical and $2,000 for that. But listen, You could make this argument if you really want to appeal at Raptors that the way he caught his arms like this allowed him not to fall on his face. So he didn't actually flop. This is a natural motion for somebody to catch if their balance is going backwards and they're about to fall. So in some ways, him doing the arm motion helped him not fall or not flop. So I don't know. I hope they go back and look at this and they maybe we get word that they say that they rescinded the technical flop on him and that was the wrong call because there was contact that initiated into Gary that made it like natural. It's not like he went flying back because he just decided to fly back on his own. No, he did get pushed and he caught himself with his balance. And that's why it looked like that. He never flopped. So I hope this is what happens because he doesn't deserve to lose $2,000 over something stupid like that. And if the NBA actually goes and looks at it, they'll realize that it's him catching his weight and staying upright instead of falling on his back. Yeah, that was a horrible call. And this is our first flopping tech of the season. That's pretty damn good. It really kind of shows that our team isn't a bunch of floppers, that this is the first time we got a flopping tech. And you see how it works. It's so dumb. They stop the game right in the middle. They give them a free throw and then they resume the game afterwards. Yeah, that was a ridiculous call on it. And in some ways, that's just another tool for ref manipulation in stupid ways. Loic saying rebounds, Raptors 50, Mavs 38. Dominating down low, just like a Tim Duncan team would against a team like the Mavs last night. Yeah, dominating down low. MSJ saying, Loic, we bullied them into submission. Loic saying, Dennis killed Kyrie. I thought Dennis did a fantastic job keeping up with Kyrie. In some ways, the intelligence and veteran of 11-year player, Dennis Schroeder, being in the league for so long is so valuable to us. He can play a guy like Kyrie because he has a lot of reps playing against a guy like Kyrie for like 10 years. So that's something that, like Cool Cat said yesterday, I didn't realize Dennis has been in this league for 11 years. That is so valuable. And it's like, in some ways, he's the same as Fred. They're at the same age, in the same place in their career in some ways. Actually, Dennis has been in the league longer than Fred. And, so it's not that much different in some ways. Fred and Dennis are like different flavors of ice cream. You like chocolate, you like strawberry. Whichever one you like, you're going to go eat. And in some ways, they do different things, but in some ways, they do the same things also. So I like the flavor of ice cream that Dennis is in contrast to the flavor that Fred was. But the drop off in talent and what we lost from Fred leaving is getting shored up and filled in by Dennis. It really is. Really, really is. Let's see. Name is saying, Bonjour, Loic. Comment vas-tu aujourd'hui? How are you today? Is what he said. See, I know French, nameless. Cool Cat saying, free throws are Achilles' heel. It is our legs giving out or hand giving out playing hard. We need Noah's system for free throws. You know what they need? They need to concentrate. They need to take them very seriously. They need to take their time. In some ways, Siakam, yes, wipe your face. Dribble twice. Shoot. Take your time. Dial in. The way that Gary was rushing his free throws earlier this season showed with his horrible free throw percentage so far this year. Jakob really takes his time, but he shoots with one hand and he doesn't use his guide hand. In fact, CJ Miles had him on with Ahmet Mann, and they were talking to him about his free throw shooting and just different things. Jakob's story is very interesting. You should watch that episode with Ahmet Mann and Jakob because he talks about how he got into basketball in Austria and nobody was into basketball. He really kind of came into basketball out of nowhere. Austria doesn't give a shit about basketball. And somehow him being in the NBA really floored CJ Miles. He's like, wow, it is really special that you made it here, considering you didn't have any relatives that were into basketball that got you into it. Your country's not into it. You just found it on your own. You grew into it. And now look at you. You're in the NBA. And not only that, you're like a pro that's been here for a while and you're established. That's really is impressive. The whole story of Jakob and where he comes from in Austria, a place where there was no basketball and nobody gave a shit. And he kind of gave a shit enough to get himself in the NBA. That's very interesting to me. But yeah, the free throws got to get better. And that's actually something they could do better. We know these guys shoot better free throws from time to time. It's just lack of concentration and just taking your time. That's what it is always with free throws. It's just you need to concentrate and stop like being casual about it. Stargate saying Mavs have no shot blockers. There are about 9 teams in the league that have the same roster construction as the Mavs. No paint protection. We need to feast on those teams. Yes. And yes, and Stargate is exactly right. I see this. I see this. There's some of these teams that want to go small, we can really abuse them. And I want to this year. I think Stargate's exactly right. And I hope there's at least 9 teams like this, because that'll really help our win loss for the season. If we get to bully some players, some teams like we did last night. David's saying, yeah, Noah worked really well last year, didn't it? It worked good for Dylan Brooks. It worked for him at least. Loic saying at Nameless, ça va bien, et toi? I'm good. How are you? Comment en français qui regarde la NBA 3H du matin et qui les you fatigues? All right, so he's saying, how is your French in regards to the NBA 3 hours in this morning? And I'm tired. I don't know. I guess he's saying he stayed up till last night till 3 a.m. to watch NBA games, and he's tired this morning. There you go. I think I got it right. See, I don't need a French teacher, Nameless. I need an Italian teacher because I don't know Italian, but I know French. David's saying at Raptors superfan Mo, the greatest. Yeah, Mo, Otto is looking great. So happy he's out there playing a much needed piece. Yeah, Otto people that were worried about Otto 2 weeks ago, like play Otto, play Otto. Well, we're getting what we want from him, and we're seeing good stuff. And no more worries about Otto stealing money from us, please, guys. No more of these jokes. Otto's just got no mask. He's a bank robber. He just doesn't have a mask. No, we ain't doing that. This man is showing up. He's being productive. He's helping us win. And that's what we want from his contract. Mo's saying Darko putting great plays together. I agree. I really like what they're doing. I really, really like the interactions. Like at one point late in the game, we saw Scotty and Pascal playing off each other in the pick and roll, which is what we talked about. And it's so deadly. It's like those guys are too talented between the two of them. Either one of them take the shot or pass it. And you saw them flipping it back and forth between each other. And then Scotty got a really easy like layup right at the basket because of flipping it back and forth between Siakam. Pick and roll between Siakam and Barnes will work. It will work. And they're so interchangeable that they can't guard it. They can't guard it. In some ways, that's another nasty thing we're not really doing enough of, is developing and getting the chemistry between Siakam and Barnes really good off of pick and rolls. And they're interchangeable. Either one of them can be the pick or the roll. And it's awesome. I mean, either one could be the pick and roller or the other person. Let's see. Loic saying, Lex, I told you since FIBA World Cup, Dennis is the leader of the leaders of the world. I won't argue with that. When he's shooting free throws in the game, I'm chanting MVP at home. In fact, I will tell Raptors fans coming to the games in the near future at home, when Dennis Schroeder is taking free throws, chant MVP. You guys can do it, and it fits. It's not like you're lying. He's the MVP of FIBA World Cup, and we can chant an MVP chant in our arena for him when he shoots free throws. It's just honoring his accomplishment this year. So please, Raptors fans, strongly consider chanting MVP for Dennis when he shoots free throws. Nameless is saying, I'm good, my friend. That's crazy. You will sleep well, my friend, tonight. There you go. There you go. He was up till 3 watching NBA basketball. That's a NBA freak. That's right. Loic is a freak for the NBA up till 3. Yeah. And Nameless is laughing. Es say 6 air a venir. I think that's like tomorrow or something. I don't know. My French is limited. Loic saying Davis of Warren. Hello, my friend. Yes. Cowboys saying Celtics, you're next. All right. We had a good Atlantic Division matchup last night. The Celtics playing Nick Nurse and the Sixers last night in a close game. And Nick Nurse beat the Celtics last night. The Celtics have lost 2 games in a row now, and they're looking a little bit gettable. I want to beat them on Saturday. Don't get me wrong. And in some ways, we might beat them on Saturday. I hope we do. But in some ways, if I had the choice between beating them on Saturday and in their arena or beating them at home in the in-season tournament game the next week, I will take that Friday when Tom's here and we're in Scotiabank Arena. You know, in some ways, we want to see them, but maybe Darko doesn't want to show them everything on Saturday when we're in Boston, because in some ways, the game on Friday is way more important than the game on Saturday. It really, really is. And this is going to be a weird tester game between the Celtics and the Raptors on Saturday to really kind of like, it's the pre-warm up for the game on Friday to me. You know, one of the things I was thinking about with this in-season tournament that's interesting is the format is very similar to FIBA. And in some ways, the way Dennis was orienting the Team Germany from game to game, they're really one and done, single elimination kind of things, the way you got to handle the FIBA World Cup. And in some ways, That's what the in-season tournament is going to be like. So I want to see Dennis kind of utilize some of the team leadership from the World Cup, as Loic is bringing up, with the Raptors. Whatever you did with Germany when you were over in Asia this summer, Dennis, try and orient the Raptors and leadership with the same way. Whatever you got those German players on the same page to come out and give a good effort night in, night out, and go undefeated at FIBA World Cup, you got to handle the in-season tournament the same way. That game is going to be so much more different than the game on Saturday, the game against Milwaukee next Wednesday, because it matters. It has more to it. It has more stakes. And in some ways, we've got to handle a single elimination kind of tournament like the in-season tournament with a lot of gravity and a lot of respect. And I hope Dennis, with his experience of guiding Team Germany through that schedule over there with the FIBA World Cup and being so successful night in, night out, I hope that will translate and he can give that kind of leadership to take this in-season tournament very, very seriously, because there are a lot of parallels to how you prepare for FIBA World Cup as a team from a nation as you do for this new in-season tournament. I can already tell they need to have that kind of same intensity. It's a one and done kind of thing. In fact, if we lose to the Celtics on that Friday, we are pretty much not going to be in the in-season tournament very longer. We really do need to be perfect. We need to win all 4 of the qualifying games, and then we will be able to go to Vegas. We really, really need to. Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. Celtics, you're next. What's up, bud? Bam. Seymour saying OG was player of the game. Darko outcoached kid. Keep scratching that bald head. Salute. And to salute the Cowboy. That's right. Loic saying, yes, 7 p.m. Eastern is 1 a.m. for me. That's right, because Loic is a French Spurs fan. And you're actually in France. So this is like his French speak. Of course. He's watching the Spurs in the NBA. He's a Victor fan. He's a Tony Parker fan. He's proud of his country. And as far as I'm concerned, France is annexed as Spurs Nation at this point, with Victor Wembanyama running around playing for them at this point. So Loic's a real one, a French Spurs fan, holding it down for us over on the European continent. Yeah, I love it. Most saying, I really thought Pascal was going to get the chain. I'm glad they gave it to OG. It's really cute, the picture of OG with the chain. I'm glad that they're giving it to different people. I mean, they had to give OG respect for the defensive job he did on the game, plus the offensive side. It was just really nice to see. But yeah, Pascal could have easily gotten that chain last night also. Cowboys alley-oop into Seymour. All right, we'll do that. I know you guys are going to be hanging out together soon when you go out west, Bradley. Let's see. Name is saying, Heureux de voir ici avec news. He's saying, what hour do you go to bed? Or something like that. I think that's what he's saying. I'm not sure. I'm just going to translate and make it really wrong and crazy and messed up if I don't understand it. Mugabe saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Good win. Lex, I told you Darko's going to take Pascal out of the corner without taking away from Scotty. Yeah, Mugabe, you were right. And we really like seeing Siakam have a huge game and everything fitting nicely. Exactly, like you're saying. And it really was like he's next to the basket. I love where Siakam was getting his points last night. Really powerful and unstoppable. The Mavs had nothing for him. They couldn't do anything to stop him. Grant Williams, you look like a clown out there. Let's just put it that way. Loic saying it, nameless. On peut ceder to it on es ami. He's saying something about you are my friends. I think he just said you're my friends. Stargate saying at Seymour, Darko made Kid look like a junior high coach. Yes, that it was that bad. I think Jason Kidd is a fraud. I do really think he's a fraud. Monique is saying Raptors definitely found their rhythm for sure. Looking a lot more cohesive. I love the fast breaks. There was even points where we were making extra passes, and they were absolutely the best pass because it made it so much easier, the shot. We really are. Like, the fast breaks are fun when they're passing it every which way, and boom, we get an easy layup. Yeah. I have way more confidence on our transition fast break game than last year. Last year, we managed to mess up man advantages in transition. And this year, we're getting in there and we're making them. And I love it. I love it. Our fast break is so much better this year. It's cultivating really good stuff. Seymour saying, if you think Siakam is getting traded, go check into Cam H and tell him we sent you. He might, though. I mean, we have to be realistic. He might still get traded, guys. I don't want to, as I said, in my heart, I don't want to trade him. Let's see. David's laughing, fiercely saying, "Nameless hitting us with the French." Yes, there we go. Isaac is like laughing too. Fiercely saying, "Soon Lex will speak close to 10 languages." I know. Y'all just start hitting me with whatever languages y'all speak. This is like turning into, what is it? Like a Rosetta Stone? This is the Rosetta Stone Raptorsfreak channel, where you can learn different languages while you talk about the Raptors. We're doing Italian and French. Yeah, we're just going to keep adding languages. Rosetta Stone. We're Rosetta Stone now. Monique saying Pascal knew you had to get going, and what a smile. Silence the haters. That's right, Monique. I'm giving you a dunk for loving Siakam and reveling in his success today with us. Yes, Monique. Pascal, shut them the hell up. That's right. Look saying, do I hear some Scotty MIP chants already? I don't know. Not on the road. But people are opening their eyes to the possibility that this young man might be the most improved player this year. I mean, he looks very improved. I mean, seriously. I mean, they don't want to notice he's most improved. He's going to make them notice by the end of this year, I'll bet. I'll bet he'll make them notice. Cool Cat saying, it was nice to see Pascal talking to Canadian Prosper on Dallas Mavericks. I like his outreach to all Canadian players in the NBA. Yeah, let's talk about some of the kibitzing and hobnobbing around the game last night. Before the game, we saw the union heads having a little union meeting. It was Thaddeus Young joking around with Grant Williams, and then Garrett Temple came over and got involved in the conversation too. Of course, Grant Williams is a union leadership for the NBA Players Association, and so is Garrett Temple. So there may have been a little bit of an NBA Players Union meeting before the game between Grant and Garrett. With Thad being an elder statesman, he can get involved in those talks too. Before, also, there was at one point during the game where Luka was coming into the game and he forgot to take his warm-up shirt off. Well, Ben Taylor came over and mentioned it to him, and they had a little laugh. And I was like, oh man, Luka's very pally with Ben Taylor. That's annoying. And I think Ben Taylor said to him, if you had worn your warm-up shirt onto the court, I would have called a technical on you. That's what I want to think that he said. But they were too chummy and jokey, Ben Taylor and Luka Doncic in that moment. Come on, I want you yelling at Ben Taylor because you're pissed off with his call, Luka. Not joking around, not wearing your shirt like that. Yeah, there was a little bit of side interactions that I picked up in the game, whether it's those two instances there. And you're talking about Siakam going and checking on Canadian player Prosper over on the Mavericks. Cool, good stuff. Seymour saying we want Scotty MVP chance. It's too soon for that, Seymour. It's too soon. Let's do MIP, and then MVP will be coming in the years to come. Let's not realistically, he's going to be in that stratosphere soon where he can actually be gauged against guys like Jokic and Giannis and Jason Tatum. But it's too soon. In some ways, we've got to give him a time to show that it's bona fide and that he's here to stay at that level before they'll actually start considering him for MVP. But he should get consideration for this in the years to come. He should. Stargate saying Darko, Jama, and Dwayne Wade's cousin totally dissected the Mavs coaching staff, figured them out to a T. Yeah, I like that you referred to James Wade as Dwayne Wade's cousin. I'm sure he loves that. Most people don't get that connection when they think about James Wade. They don't realize they are actually related and they are actually first cousins because he doesn't like putting that on blast. So most people don't realize James Wade is actually Dwayne Wade's cousin, but he is. Yeah, I think our coaching staff did exceptionally well. I'm very impressed with them. I feel like they each have their kind of cool things about them. Like I see Pat Delaney's kind of every guy kind of mentality. Hey guys, come on, bring it in. He's just kind of like a Jack Armstrong kind of guy on the coaching staff. You got Jama's positivity and development skills as a coach. And you got Mike the Batiste, Mike the Bulldozer Batiste, who's been doing the halftime interviews. He's very cool. I like listening to him. His insight on what the team needs to do. You can tell he's a voice around the team that's tough and kind of maybe instilling dog in the players, Mike Batiste. They each have kind of their different little roles, the assistant coaches for the Raptors right now, Evo and Vin and the rest of them. James Wade seems kind of like he's doing a bit of the Nate Bjorkgren stuff for Darko so far this season, kind of coming with the clipboard and kind of helping to direct and kind of be a feisty bulldog on the coaching staff to motivate and keep things organized. I really like the coaching staff that Darko has together right now. I think they've been doing great. Seymour saying Scotty Roy has morphed to Scotty Mip. Scotty Mip. Let's start saying that, Matt Devlin. Scotty Mip. Mip. Is it Mip? M-I-P? Scotty Mip. Scotty Mip. You were so successful with Scotty Roy. Maybe you need to do Scotty Mip. Scotty Mip. Mip. That's a funny sounding word. Mip. Let's see. Monique is saying OG contained Luka so well, man. Crybaby Luka. Crybaby Luka. Yeah, he wasn't crying too much. There was a little bit of crying, but he wasn't too bad. He could have been a lot more butthole face and crying. Cool Cat saying pairing Malachi with Scotty or Pascal is good. They help Malachi to get him easier 3-point shots. Yeah, and I love the confidence. He stepped right into them. We need to see you have that confidence and just nail shots, Malachi. I still believe in you. I've gone wavered in my belief in you at times over the last few years. But right now, I got strong belief in you. And I really do feel like you can be a serviceable backup point guard for the Raptors, hopefully for the rest of the season. Cool Cat saying Grady has to let it fly when Pascal Scotty pass you the ball. They already break down the defenders for you and to shoot. Don't hesitate. Yeah, it's weird because when he first came out, I was like, this kid has no fear. He looks like he fits in right away. But now he's looking a little more sheepish about taking shots. He's very much like calculating whether he's totally open. It could be that Wemby scared the shit out of him on Sunday. It's like, these guys are long and I got to watch out for block shots and stuff. So, yeah, Grady, you need to be more aggressive and try and find your spots and take those shots. I mean, Grady only shot 2 shots last night, I believe. No, only 1 shot, and that's not enough. And it wasn't even a 3. So, yeah, Grady, you need to shoot more. That's one of the job descriptions for you, buddy. We want to see you hit them. Shere Khan's here. Good to see Raptor Freak Rookie of the Year for last year. Shere Khan, always frequenting the Raptors Tonight chats, always having great questions for Randy Urban and the gang. We love you, Shere Khan, and keep doing what you're doing. I love seeing your questions, and when they always get asked, I'm like, yeah, Shere Khan's the master of Raptors Tonight questions. He's always putting them in there, and they're always asking them. So they know you. Shere Khan's a name that is known by Randy Urban. That's for sure. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Don't know about you guys, but even a struggling shooting Scotty can still change the game late. Siakam says he'll carry the team to a win. Fantastic game. 500 after a tough start. Pretty good. Yeah, we're 500 right now, 4-4, evened up. But honestly, we should be 6-2 right now. The Portland and Chicago games are going to be in my head for the rest of the year. And 6-2 is our real record. We should only have 2 losses to the Sixers, and that's it. And those were scheduled losses. So you go ahead and think we're a real good team. It looks weird because we're 4-4 and we've had a rocky start, but we've weathered it. And in a lot of ways, we could have easily been almost perfect by now. I mean, the scheduled losses to the Sixers were going to come no matter what. Nameless is saying, my favorite part of the game last night is when Luka threw his little temper tantrum and started jumping up and down, crying for another call in frustration. We frustrated the hell out of them. Yeah, that's fun. That's just a little side bonus game in the game is watching the anger of Luka. Luka was kind of weird in his interview afterwards. He was very casual. In some ways, he has the casualness of Jokic about the NBA game where he doesn't totally take it seriously. I get it. I feel it, that those vibes from him, and that must infuriate Mavericks Nation to a degree in some ways. Fiercely saying Nets fans chanting Daryl Morey while Harden was shooting free throws. That's awesome. That is so smart and so funny. Harden. Oh yeah, because he was on the Clippers. Yeah, that's really good. Good job, Brooklyn. If y'all are a team that deserves to troll James Harden, that's for sure. Y'all do. You and the Sixers get the troll, even the Rockets too. So yeah, that's great. I love that. They're chanting Daryl Morey to him. That's hilarious. Nameless is saying Darko calling those timely challenges and timeouts was perfect. We've been missing that for a few years. Yeah, it just shows the refs suck and they got called on their shit, and and rightfully so. Meredith's here. Good to see Meredith. Hope you're doing really well, Meredith. Holding it down in Ottawa for us. I think the difference between Fred and Dennis is Fred thinks I'm going to do it myself, while Dennis thinks I'm going to get my team to do it. Yeah. Yes. That is really right on point, Meredith. Seriously, Fred tried to do it all himself in a lot of ways. And getting somebody else involved to do it to help him was like second nature to him. It's really he wants to do it himself. And Dennis is not like that. He will outsource the work to other guys, and he will be so proud of them in doing it. It's not like he cares. That's what I'm saying. In some ways, you can have a point guard that is selfish. In some ways, you can have a point guard that is not. And we're seeing the difference. And I'm not saying Fred was a selfish player overall, but he really isn't a true point guard. He's a shooting guard with a point guard size of his body. And that's really what Fred is. Let's see. Nameless is saying Luka looked like how to catch a Doncic last night. You making a reference to Chris Hansen's show Dateline, How to Catch a Predator? You're saying How to Catch a Doncic because of his mustache? Are you saying he was a How to Catch a Predator mustache? Is that what you're saying, Nameless? I'm going to give you a dunk for creative trolling. And yeah, maybe that is a How to Catch a Predator mustache that Luka's sporting last night. Maybe, yeah. Oh, hello. You weren't expecting a young lady instead of me? Why are you in that towel? And what are these wine coolers and condoms for? What are you doing here? This girl's 12 years old. How to Catch a Doncic. Cool Cat saying, Dennis is learning his teammates' tendencies. Soon it will be second nature. Yes. That highlight of him throwing it over his shoulder to Jakob is getting shine in the NBA top 10 highlights. They really like the eyes in his back of his head when he just popped the ball over his shoulder in that one game, and Jakob was coming behind him and he jammed it. That was such a beautiful play. More stuff like that, Cool Cat. More stuff like that. The more and more he feels comfortable with these guys. I think Dennis loves being a Raptor. In some ways, he's getting hit what he wanted in his NBA career all along right now. And in some ways, it's really inspiring to win this way. You know, we're going to have him for a couple years. I would love for Dennis to stay with the Raptors for a few years now because I really feel like he is a fantastic fit on our team. Yeah, I really do. Monique is saying 500. Let's keep climbing. That's right. We're at 500. We were trying to get 500 all last year, and it took forever. We got it. How many games in the season? We're at 500. Let's stay above 500. So we got to beat the Celtics on Saturday and get above 500 and start building above 500. That's what we want. You know, they were saying last night, if Raptors can do this on the road, steal games against top teams like this, well, we could have a really good record and we could be a real playoff team this year and not fucking around with the bubble or like the play-in tournament, any of that kind of bullshit. Fiercely saying Movember mustache doesn't look good on Cryberry Luka. That's probably what it is. It's Movember. I never do it. I could grow a mustache. I've had a mustache on this show a couple times, but I don't like my mustache because it's lighter hair, and I don't. It just looks weird. It looks weird. It looks like I don't know. It's light hair. I don't have like dark facial hair. So if I grow the mustache, you sometimes can't even really see it. But yeah, that's right. That's probably what Movember. That's what Luka's doing. He's growing his mustache for a good cause, probably. At least I hope that's why he's doing it, and it's not the Chris Hansen reason. David's saying, haha, there needs to be a review when a coach calls back-to-back challenges within a minute and wins them both. Like, do your jobs much? Yeah, maybe. Maybe they will review Ben Taylor. Maybe Ben Taylor's under fire because Fred VanVleet put a spotlight on him last year. And now he's looking like, oh, he's a little inept. And now he's a little shaky on the court. And he's like, I want to please everybody. I want to please this Dallas fans. Oh, they don't like this. Okay, we got to change the call. There was a couple of those kind of things where they made the call and it was for the Raptors. And then they heard the crowd get really upset and they changed it the other way. There were a couple of calls like that last night. You saw them. Where it's like the call was for the Raptors, but y'all switched it because of crowd threatening crowd, like, oh, boo, boo. Oh, wait, no, it's Mavericks ball. It's Mavericks ball. Oh, that's bullshit. It's like y'all are malleable. You can be influenced. Like, we'll threaten you with bodily harm. And you're like, oh, no. Ben Taylor's like, no, we'll call it for you. Don't hurt me. You know, what is going on here? Be strong refs and stop being so pushed around. In some ways, they were pushed around last night. Let's see. Seymour's laughing at Fiercey. Fiercey saying Red Hot Chili Peppers. That song was nice. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Yeah, Under the Bridge. Yeah, Sue's friend got it. Shannon knew it right away. I was like, yeah, she better know this. That's such a familiar song at the beginning. Ding, doo, 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 ding, doo, 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 doo. Yeah. Yeah, play it again, Sue. Check out her music reaction YouTube channel. It's fun. Her and her friends always talking about cool songs. Good songs they pick usually. Yeah, Under the Bridge. Yeah. Cool Cat saying, my prayer is that we keep our trio, Pascal, OG, and Scotty. I think that is the path to our chip. Just need to give time for Coach Darko and players fine-tune each other. You know, in some ways, we do have like a championship kind of roster. We got guys like Otto and Dennis around. Those guys are the kind of guys that can get you to championships at high levels because of their experience and their time doing that kind of shit. Siakam's a champion. Otto's a champion. OG's a champion. Chris is a champion. Dennis Schroeder is a World Cup champion. You know, we have caliber pedigree to our team of winners. And you add into the athleticism and the budding superstar that Scotty is, this is more realistic than most of the NBA wants to realize. Because we actually do have a team that has a lot of pedigree with winning. And, that's part of the reason why we won these last 2 games too, is because there's a lot of built up like time and effort and work done by guys on our team that they're a little bit different than a lot of other teams that are in their way, like where they are right now. Like Chicago is a little bit different, the Bulls and the Raptors, the makeup and what they're doing. And I'm saying we have a lot of promise with the mix of those veteran heads of like Otto and Dennis and Thad and Garrett with our young emerging talent like Scotty, Grady, Gary, Precious, and those guys. So it's really a nice balance right now. I thought we were too young in the last couple of years, and I love having a bit more vets that just know what they're doing. In some ways, you need guys to guide the young guys so that they know what they're doing. Garrett, Dennis, and these guys, they can help the youngsters really understand how to play the right way, and that's important. And some of these teams are just kindergartens with all just young kids, and who are they getting taught by? The coaches, hopefully. But if there's not enough vets on the team, well, these guys may not be learning the right habits and the right kind of things to be the best NBA players they could be. Seymour saying at David, hopefully it factors into Coach of the Year. A long shot. Once again, Darko, if he wins, like even Nick won a championship his rookie year. He did not win Coach of the Year that year, y'all. He won it the next year afterwards. So you can win the championship in your rookie year. You still won't win Coach of the Year. It's something you got to prove over time. And, if he kicks ass this year, he kicks ass next year. Maybe he wins Coach of the Year next year. Nameless is saying, I hope everyone sees how dumb Doughton over Flynn was. I need y'all to realize that we can move forward. I don't think that was dumb because honestly, Doughton's very good also. And I don't think that was dumb. It's just that in some ways we preferred having Doughton because of what Flynn was showing us. Well, I'm glad we're not Bobby and Masai and we make knee-jerk reactions and screw our team up like the way our Raptors Nation would want us to, the way they overreact to things. So thank God they still bought in with Malachi at this point to get to this point. Mo's saying great interviews, Pascal with Nicky Reyes after the game. Yeah, he had an edge to him. He's like, I just got to believe in myself. I'm not going to listen to y'all. I got to do what I got to do. And if you know me, you know me. And you'll see that I'm going to come through this all right. And I love what he said, too. He had an edge to him, and he was exactly right. And I love that. I love that. Nameless is saying Nick caused Malachi some serious PTSD, maybe, and severely delayed his development. I think the pandemic severely delayed his development. I think it's the pandemic that was the biggest problem in some ways for Malachi. Coming in such a weird rookie year. Cool Cat saying my play of the game is when OG sat, Pascal was on Luka, and fast twitch feet was able to contain him. Luka was forced to throw up the ball to the rim. Scotty got the rebound, then scored fast break. One of the really cool things that happened in the game, and I know what Cool Cat's talking about, and she's exactly right. As much as OG was containing Luka at times, Siakam, when he switched and had to guard him, he was doing a good job on him too. And that's why I want to keep shining a light on what he's doing. But one of the best things that happened was, when a coach calls a timeout, they're trying to draw up a play and get an offensive score because they may be in trouble. Maybe they need a score because they haven't scored in a while, whatever it is. Well, Dallas called a timeout, and they had an inbounds play, and they brought it in. And what happened? The Raptors played such good defense, they made them run out the 24 shot clock. That is impressive because Jason Kidd gave them a play to try and get either Kyrie or Luka a shot, and those are two of the best offensive weapons in the league. And the Raptors held their ground and made them run out the 24-second shot on that play. You know the one I'm talking about. The Mavs had just called the timeout, and they had a play set up, and the Raptors played them so perfectly at defense, they didn't even get a shot off. The 24-second shot clock ran out. That was badass. And that's the kind of stuff that Cool Cat's talking about. And Siakam was a part of a lot of that. Nameless is saying Malachi is only now starting to poke his head out of his shell. Put it this way: if Scotty doesn't like you, you've got the problem. Malachi has shown this kind of stuff in the Tampa year. He's shown it at times in the last 2 years also, but really heavily in the Tampa year. It's like Malachi flirted with 30 points in times in games when we had nobody playing because everybody's had COVID, and him and Chris were carrying our team with everybody out. So he has had some huge games, and he can do this. It's just I'm waiting for it to happen now in this setting within us being full strength instead of him being there because somebody's hurt, like Fred's out, and he's out there getting 25 points because of that. I want to see him do it off the bench, just within the flow of his bench minutes and being in the bench rotation because I believe he can do that. Let's see. Randolph saying health, peace, love, security, wisdom, comfort, contentment and prosperity on everyone. Yes, Randolph, on everyone, not just us here in the chat in our Raptors Freak Nation, but the whole entire world. There's so much bullshit, calamity, and craziness going on right now. We just want health, peace, love, security, wisdom, comfort, contentment, and prosperity for all humans in the human race and all animals and plants on this planet also. Violence against animals is just as bad in some ways. Animals have souls. Animals have feelings. Animals love each other like in families. And in some ways, humans could be more advanced and evolve more if we treated animals more like us and treated them as like they have personalities and they're individuals and they're different themselves. Every single animal, you could have a different hamster. And one hamster will have a certain personality and like to eat certain things, and another hamster is another things. So you tell me if there aren't personal, individual hamsters that are different in this world. That's what I'm saying. So let's have a general respect for life in general, whether it is a blade of grass, a seagull in the sky, a gopher, or a human being of any type for anywhere. It's just have this for everybody. In some ways, we'll progress and evolve as a species when we protect and take care of life all around on this planet. Because in some ways, we might have to at some point to keep ourselves alive. Trust me. Cowboys saying later, Lex, bam, and Raptor Freaks. Have a great and safe day. Gotta go. Let's go. All right, Cowboy. Have a great day. Tada Services. They can help you come to your house and help you with odd jobs. Look up Tada Services on social media, and Bradley will come to your house and he'll wash your windows or he'll paint something or he'll get on your roof if you need him to. Yeah. Thank you, Bradley. Shaq Lindsay's here. He's saying he's giving a star to Darko. 5 stars for Darko for instilling confidence in our players. Flynn, Chris, Gary, and Pascal all look better. Last year, a couple of losses would be a downward spiral of a losing streak. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to have a better time of not spiraling out of control and losing with this team because of the more upbeatness of it. In some ways, there was no safety net of feelings. It got weird. And it was kind of on the players in some ways to keep their heads up and stay together. Well, I think they're going to get more help from their coach keeping them together this year. And by keeping them upbeat, even if they're losing. And I totally agree with this. I totally agree with this, Shaq Lindsay. MSJ saying Flynn needs to play solid in the backcourt with Barnes, hit open threes, score off the ball with movement, but not create for himself. The Dennis, Barnes, Gary backcourt needed the rest he provided. Yeah, Dennis needed rest. He needed some time to keep up with Kyrie. And in some ways, it was really a benefit for us to have Malachi playing at a high defensive level on Kyrie because it kind of hurt Kyrie. In some ways, he probably was looking for a little bit of a break once Dennis went out of the game. Well, Malachi kept that intensity up on the defensive end and bugging him. So there was no slouches. There was no time in the game where it's like, oh, Kyrie can go off a little bit more because he's playing against our bench guard. No. In some ways, Malachi had that same defensive intensity that Dennis Schroeder was showing on him. It really, really did. Carlos saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks, fam. Winning basketball feels good. Yes, it does, Carlo. Let's keep the wins rolling. Let's let the good times roll. That's right. Paul B is here holding it down in Wisconsin for us. Great team win last night. Love you, Paul B. Happy to see you check in. Name was saying, you're overcomplicating it, Lex. Our offense takes what their defense gives us. Okay. Yeah, I agree with this. That in some ways you want to get the mismatches and just see what naturally is there for you to take off the table, depending on what their defensive personnel or who's guarding who or what. If we get more and more sound at really analyzing and reading the mismatches in split seconds more, we will get a lot of easy shots because of the way our starting lineup is so good and so big. There's always mismatches. And we just need to pick them apart and recognize them. Half of that's what the Raptors need to do to fix their offense is just read what the defense is giving you easily. Whether it's Scotty bullying somebody or OG bullying somebody or Pascal bullying somebody. That's usually what they're giving us is one of those three guys have an absolute mismatch on whoever's guarding them. And they can just take them to school. And that's what we need to do is go to that. It's like maybe you pick one guy on the other side that you're playing against, and that's the weak link on their defensive side. Okay, whoever he's guarding, we're throwing the ball to them, and we're going to go at it. We're going to go at that defensive weak link on the other side, and we're just going to dominate him. Okay, Grant Williams, you're a great defensive player. Okay, more like a thug who is, yeah, well, Siakam can absolutely kill him with his length. So we'll give it to Siakam in the low post and let him just go up over him over and over again. It's like that. It's like, okay, just determine who is the weak link on the other side's defensive side and go to that mismatch. to the well over and over again. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. Carlos saying Scotty just has great feel. He was directing the offense and defense last night. This is the way we should win, taking turns on whose night it is based on matchup. Yeah. And it could change from quarter to quarter. Like Siakam could have a huge first quarter. See, OG's carrying the second. Scotty's carrying the fourth. Stuff like that. Monique is saying, team hustle play loading. Are you awake yet? NBA, I'll wait. I can't wait for the next hustle play episode. Come on, Yahoo. Give us that Chris Boucher content. Maybe Chris is a little in the doldrums because of his erratic getting into the games. And maybe he's not ready to film an episode with Mike Roach. Hopefully we do get a hustle play episode soon. And I'd love to see it with some of the players. I know he wants to get Grady on there. So I'm fully expecting a Grady Dick hustle play episode very soon with Chris. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens soon. Nameless is saying, I don't think Darko ever says to any of our players, we need one player to take us home. That's very anti-Darko. Well, he might in that second, that moment. He could be like, yeah, Scotty, I want you to take over and get this last shot right now. So there could be a little bit like that. That does sound anti-Darko. You can't have that general thing for the whole game, but there may be instances in plays where he's like, yeah, Scotty, I want you to do this. I want you to do this. Troy Henry saying, all the Pascal haters, I hope you're all in shame right now. Never give up on our guys. Good to have more than one star. That's right. We want abundance. People that say, oh, Scotty's here. We don't need Siakam anymore. That's the haters telling us to get less powerful because they know we have abundance. It's like, oh, shit, the Raptors are going to be too good if Scotty's good too and Siakam's still there too. We can't have them have both of them. We need to start telling Raptors Nation they need to trade Siakam like right now. That seriously, some people are out there thinking that way and infiltrating our fan spaces and trying to get consensus from real Raptors fans by putting out these kind of things. In some ways, we want to have as much as we can because we need all hands on deck and many weapons. Because that's the way you got to win the NBA these days. You got to have options. And, you don't want to trade one of your best options just because you think this other guy showed up and he can do it all of a sudden. No. That's not smart. That's not smart. More than one star, just like Troy Henry saying. Fiercely saying, off topic, is snowed here in Ottawa. It's snowing in Ottawa right now. It's going to be snowing here in Toronto at some point soon, too. We live in Canada. Carlos saying, Darko's rotation in plays yesterday was crisp. And unlike Nick, his defensive schemes contained Luka and Kyrie. I think it's weird because in some ways, Nick would have came with doubles and really tried to force the ball out of their hands. In some ways, Darko's okay with allowing them to operate and dribble around a little bit as long as they have a really good defender like OG on them or something. In some ways, that's the big difference between Darko and Nick as far as their defensive strategies with how they handle these guys. In some ways, it's exactly what we asked Nick to do last year. Have them play one-on-one and stay at home and stop running doubles at people. You only saw one corner three last night where we got beat because they threw it all the way over, and all of a sudden that corner three, we're nowhere near one guy. And I think it was like Grant Williams. To me, that's a better thing in some ways. I'd rather have Luka or Kyrie try and beat OG one-on-one for a two-pointer or something like that than them like throwing the ball around because we doubled down so fast, then they get an open three in the corner over and over again. So in some ways, the results of Nick's philosophy compared to Darko's isn't as good. Darko's staying at home and just playing good defense. Maybe you bug their shot enough that they just miss, and you didn't bring this double over to help. Yeah, that made so much sense last year, and I'm glad to see the coach this year's doing it, and it's being successful because it is a big difference. It's a very big difference. And Carlos saying, "Oh no, the S word. I don't have my snow tires yet." Let's see. Superfan Mo saying, I'm going to say it. Scotty gets player of the week, the month. Maybe. He's probably going to get one sometime this season. It may not be this week, but who knows? Maybe we go to Boston and Scotty does something crazy and they're like, yeah, we have to recognize this. They just kicked the shit out of 2 6-1 teams this week. If we beat Boston too, they have a similar record to the Mavs right now. That's going to get more eyes on us all of a sudden. In some ways, what we did last night and what we did against San Antonio is opening people's eyes to the possible threat that the Raptors really are this year. Let's see. Courtney Sane is here. I love seeing new names in the chat. I hope you're a big Raptors fan. And we're here every morning, 9:30 a.m. Tomorrow, I'm doing a Friday freak out to open up the G League season. We're having the Raptors 905 play their first game against the Long Island Nets tomorrow night, and I'll be doing a G League preview of the Raptors 905 roster. So tune in tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. for a G League primer for our Raptors 905 season. It's a Friday freakout on the G League. That's what we got coming up tomorrow. Courtney's saying, I love our family. Screw all the people calling about trades. I think we'll win the championship this year. You know what, Courtney? This is a rookie first comment in our chat, and you're going to get double dunks. I'm giving you a double dunk for coming in with such great positive attitude. And I love how you stand for the Raptors. And thank you. The more I know that there's more people out there like Courtney and the rest of y'all, the more my heart grows with love and just feeling hope for the Raptors and what we're doing. I believe what you're saying is true too. Toronto Raptors, NBA champions 2024. Say it. Put it in existence. That's how you do things in life. You want a goal. You want something in your life that you want to go get. Well, you have to believe you can get it. So start saying that. I want that job. I want that promotion. I want to buy my own house. I want to do this. These are hard things to do, winning an NBA championship. But the first step is believing you can and putting it out there in the ether. So I'm going to say it once again. NBA champions, Toronto Raptors 2024. Why not? Denver Nuggets NBA champions 2023 sounded crazy as fuck for a while last year, but it came true. And there's no reason why this can't either. 2019 proved that. That's right. Courtney, we love you. We love you, Courtney. You're awesome. Fiercely saying, me neither. That's right. The Blackhawks here. Good to see Neil. The North is rising. That's right. This is what my shirt says today. That's right. North over everything, baby. That's right. North over everything. That's right. Blackhawks saying Clippers look stupid for giving up so many wings for Harden. Yeah. Yes. And yes, James Harden never fails to submarine a team to losing. The sad thing is Kawhi is going to be the only one that's going to get a ring on that team. The rest of those other three guys will never get rings. Russell, James, or Paul George, they'll be ringless. Those guys ain't going to get rings for Steve Ballmer in the Clippers or franchise. You've seen what's happened the last 2 days. You can put the four most talented guys on a team. If they're knuckleheads, they ain't going to do jack shit. So, yeah, Kawhi will be the only champion at the end of this Clippers experiment right now. I'm predicting right now. Mo's saying 48 people watching. Subscribe, y'all. Thank you, Mo. Yeah, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel. It's real easy. You don't have to watch me every day. I know I'm on very long periods every day. We're going to do 3 hours today. But it's part of just filling that need. And people want to talk about the Raptors. We're enthusiastic about it. This is a positive space to do it without trolling and negativity and just some of the bullshit that's in other spaces on social media about the Raptors. Yeah, this is that's free of all that bullshit. This is for positive, real fans of the Raptors. That's right. Let's see. MSJ saying the NBA for me this year is fire. So many things to follow. Chet and Wemby last night. You think Chet was over Wemby? Yeah, see, we're gonna have this argument for a while. I'm very firmly in Wemby's camp, in the Spurs camp, and yeah, I'm not a fan of Holmgren. I'm not. Let's see. Team Canada updates. Yeah, the women's team is playing a couple games right now for qualifying. And I love the partnership with the Raptors and OVO. They're having the Raptors logos on the Team Canada jerseys for the women's national team. And that's fantastic stuff. And they're playing very important games right now for qualifying. So go Team Canada women's basketball team. We love you. And we hope you have met much success and do really good things with the Olympics coming up. That's right. SGA with 43, the Fred VanVleet shooting percentage, so many fun storylines this year. No, Fred didn't have a big game, and Houston won that game. He really was feeding Jalen Green and Jabari and Alperin and stuff like that. So, yeah, Fred's finding success and helping the Rockets win. They've actually won a couple games in a row. They've been stringing them together. So they're doing better than I thought they would, and the Fred effect is being felt there, along with the Ime Udoka effect as being the coach. But there is a lot. The NBA is fire. And you add in this crazy in-season tournament that's going on. Yeah, there's a lot of chitter-chat around the NBA, and they're doing well. They're doing well right now. It's exciting. And I'm having fun watching the Raptors, just specifically them. I think that the Raptors basketball games have been so entertaining this season. Last year was not fun. It was painful. And it was like, I really hated watching the Raptors sometimes. I would not really look forward to games on certain days. And this year it's a lot different. It's a lot different. Carlos saying, yeah, Nick running the Raps is like night and day compared to Darko. Yeah, and Nick is the night and Darko's the day. Darko is the day with the clouds in the sky. But sometimes those overcast days are beautiful. I love overcast days. I have no problem with a Darko day against a Nick Nurse night. That's right. Shirkan saying, what about the bogus flopping call? Yeah, we talked about that for a little bit for a sec. Dallas players went hard into Gary, and he didn't even react that bad. I would have fallen to the floor and called the foul. Hee hee. Yeah, I know that was bullshit. He tried to catch his balance, and that's why he did his little arm flail, and that's why they called the flopping on him. The way they described this past summer is exaggerated or overacting or really kind of trying to overemphasize to get a call, which I think that they misconstrued what Gary was doing. I don't think he was trying to get a call. He was literally trying to just catch his balance. And naturally, if you're teeter-tottering like this, you will do a little bit like this to try and catch yourself. Anybody, anywhere on the sidewalk outside, you could slip and you're going to try and do this to catch yourself. I don't understand that. He actually caught himself and he didn't actually flop. So I hope that the NBA rescinds the fine on him because he doesn't deserve it. If he gets fined $2,000 for that, that's bullshit. Mo's saying that dunk by OG, he had a few. I mean, he had a couple where he's like, if you're in my way, I'm going to take your head off. Seriously. And some of them he did get stymied and stopped because of physicality getting in his way and he didn't finish it. But some of them he threw down. And the way he's attacking the rim is like Precious right now. Precious usually attacks the rim like this, but we're seeing OG put the ball on the floor and attacking the rim when he gets that open lane. And he's making them pay. In some ways, that will help open up things for Siakam and Barnes because OG's a threat also. Then, like, who are you going to fucking double? You can't double all three of them. You're going to go double OG? Well, you got to double Siakam. Maybe you got to double Barnes soon, very soon. So, yeah, they're going to have to start making choices about picking their poison when they're playing the Raptors because there's a couple different people that are three-tool stars that can put it down on the floor or shoot it or, pass it. And you're going to need to guard these guys in a different way very soon. Blackhawk saying, no one on our team was negative last night, so everyone deserves accolades. This is true. We had all the engine firing on all cylinders. Every single one of them contributed, and it added up to this. There were some dead notes on the other side for the other team, and that hurt them. They weren't a good enough team compared to our team. Our team as a collective was a better team than the Mavericks. That is undeniable. Yeah, Country Con saying, good morning, Raptors Freak. Lex, I tried to tell you we're still road dogs. Great win by the Raptors. Happy for Siakam. Once his three starts falling, it's really on. The refs were outrageous last night in incidental contact. Yeah, Country Kong coming in with a lot there. It's good to see Scotty Barnes, Switch family, Country Kong in the house. Yeah, I wanted to believe that we were still road dogs, but I wanted evidence first. Some of that road dog mentality was a lot of Lowry culture, and Lowry instilled in people. And I know we passed it to Fred, and I'm worried about it passing on the road. I think part of it is this particular road trip is fun because they have 2 days off in between games. So they're really getting a lot of time together. And the vibes are going to be so much stronger when they come back from this road trip. Watch, because they've bonded. Them being on the road for 2 days and being in Dallas, just screwing around, hanging out around hotels and eating team dinners and practicing, it really does let them focus on being on the team and around each other without family, without distractions of being home. When they are here in Toronto, it's not like they hang out with each other. They go home. Scotty gets on Twitch. Dennis hangs out with his family. They go and do other things. But when they're on the road and they're on the road this long for this many days in between, yeah, they can start bonding with each other even stronger. And the vibes and the fun of being on the road as a team is really, really high. So in some ways, this trip has been really, really good for them with the stretched out between the games. They're off today, they're off tomorrow, and then they play again in Boston. But see, they can travel to Boston. They don't have to get on them overnight in Dallas. They can go home there. They can go back to their hotel last night, sleep in a bed, not an airplane or an airport overnight last night, fly today during the day, and be in Boston still 2 days before the game and have all day on Friday to practice in Boston. This has been a really good trip for this. In fact, this has been a really good road trip to get that road warrior mentality back. And I think you're right. I think they still do have it, Country Kong. They're showing it. The proof is in the pudding with the W's. Yeah, I like it. I'm happy for Siakam too. And I listen, this is him reminding everybody who he is. Blackhawks saying, don't worry about the Sixers. 2019 Magic beat us in the regular season. Then we whooped that trick in the playoffs. We can take care of Philly in the playoffs. I like that attitude, Blackhawk. I'm going to give you a dunk. I believe in this too. I do too. I think that once again, things are so good with the Sixers right now; they're too good to be true. And some of the Sixers fans are kind of hesitant to really buy in and believe in the new Nick Nurse-led Sixers because they have such a history of disappointment and everything going to shit. So they're kind of like, pinch me right now. Are we this good? Are we really this good with Nick? Holy crap, these are so good. But some of them don't trust it. There's some of them are very much like, something's going to go wrong at some point. It's so sad that Sixers Nation has to be like that. Y'all should enjoy it because this is real. This is real what y'all are doing right now. But I don't think y'all win a championship. And in some ways, that's failure if you don't. It's like you guys just need to win a championship. That's the only thing where you're successful. You can't just get to the finals and lose in the finals. That's a fail. You guys have to win, and that's it. Win or bust. And in some ways, y'all are going to fail at some point because you're not going to win the championship this year. So yeah, get all high and be happy and enjoy the new era of Nick and the greatness of his coaching. But once again, you're going to fail at some point, and the only way that y'all can be successful is if you win the championship. And I don't see them doing that. Wayne's saying, "Yep, we the freaks are the true ones. Coaching and staying true to the team vision feels quite wholesome." Up next, Boston, and that's another benchmark. Otto is working in and looking forward to Thad next. I think Thad is very much just break in case of emergency. If we have injuries and stuff. In some ways, we don't need him to play a whole lot. In some ways, he's back in San Antonio in his last year there. He's just going to kind of sit in the bench and be in case of emergency. And I don't see Thad getting called up or becoming part of that semi-rotation either. I think he really is just insurance and leadership around the team. I know that Shakina and him would love him to play more, but I think they're happy with winning and being on winning team, even if he's not playing a whole lot. So I know she was at the game in Dallas, traveling with them. Took a picture at the game last night. Boston's going to be a good test, and we're going to have to see that benchmark too, Wayne. You're right. It's going to be a lot of fun. See, you stay true to your team. You stay true to the Raptors when they are successful. You don't have to be like weird about it or like kind of like, they're good, but they're not that good. Don't be like that. Really encourage them and believe in them, and you'll be having fun like we are on our stream today. Country Kong saying doubting over Flynn was an embarrassing time for all of us. We allowed ourselves to be deceived by the tyranny of Nick Nursery. Malachi is a lockdown defender, as asked Kyrie. Love Jeff, but we need Malachi. Yeah, I don't even want to drag this up. I mean, this is all water on the bridge. They made their decision. He was a non-guaranteed, so he had to go. But don't doubt Doughton. Doughton's a very good player also. And once again, I would tell anybody in any kind of situation, there's no reason to put somebody else down to prop somebody up. Malachi, we can give him his flowers without even mentioning Jeffrey. In some ways, I'm sad for Jeff because I wanted him to continue as a Raptor. But I don't think that's right either. I think they're very equal. I don't think Doughton over Flynn was like, I think they're very equal. But at that point, I thought Doughton was more steady than Flynn. So I stand by the way I stood a couple weeks ago. I still stand by that. I still think it was the best decision, but the money decision was the better decision to keep Flynn and not do it the way they did it. So Stargate saying Blackhawk, big up me in general. Yeah, Blackhawk's been fighting the good fight in the spaces around Raptors Nation in comments. I seen him. I see Stargate doing the same. I see a lot of y'all doing it. Nameless is saying I even saw Pirtle out there with the scrubs a few times. I use that term lightly. Yeah, I don't know. They're wearing scrubs. Are they working in a hospital? I don't know what you're talking about there. I don't want no scrubs. Scrub is a player that can't get no time from me playing on the court outside on the sideline, sitting over there next to Darko and me. Yeah, I don't want no scrubs. Cookhead saying back from a meeting. Hope I'm not too far off. I don't know how far off you are. Blackhawk saying big up the Stargate. That's right. They're recognizing each other. Nameless is saying Scott Torzowski is our new champion of justice. Yeah, he threw Giannis out last night. That was hilarious. Blackhawk saying Raptors freaks. Throw your hands up. I love that. That enthusiasm by Blackhawk's going to get another dunk. He's just like, throw your hands up. All right. I like that. All right. Carlos saying, I've seen enough. I'm calling him aside later and tell him to keep all three. OG, Pascal, and Scott. You got his number? You give me his number, Carlo. I have his number. I think it's his old one, though. I tried to call him a couple times, and it's disconnected at this point. We need to get his new number, Carlo. If you have Masai's number, I need it. Blackhawk saying 46 Raptor freaks in here. We're moving on up. Click that like button. Don't be a mutton. Don't be a mutton. That's an interesting diss. I like that. Don't be a mutton. What is that, like lamb meat or something like that? I don't know. Don't be a lamb meat. Carlos saying click and like and subscribe. Thank you guys for the endorsement. Randolph saying Lex, I was pleased to hear Siakam acknowledge that he has to adjust to the new system. I felt like he was saying at the beginning that he knows everything already. Yeah, I never took him as saying that at the beginning of the season. I took him as saying is like he's a multi-dimensional player that can fit in any system. And this is going to take time. Once again, Gary and Pascal have taken a little longer to get used to Darko's system, partly because they were so keyed on last year. And that makes sense. They just got a lot of shot attempts last year in isolation kind of ways. It's kind of like give Gary the ball and let him dribble around and do anything to just manufacture a shot was what Nick was doing with him. Similar with Siakam. Well, that's not what we're trying to do this year. The dribbling around to try and find your shot should be limited and very directed in very concerted ways that make sense instead of just like being free jazz and like do a little dribble to the side, Gary, dribble here, and then you can take your shot when you make your room to get open. We're not doing that this year. So in some ways, Siakam and Trent have had to find new ways to find their shots within the offensive system. And no, I don't think he was ever arrogant to say that he knew it already or anything like that. He's just saying all along, it's like we all have to learn it. And in some ways, I'm going to figure it out because I'm determined to. I'm a professional and I care about it. And Darko's saying once again about Siakam, the cream rises to the top. His best players will find ways to contribute and do what they need to do. And he has no worries about Siakam not getting his system and fitting in. He knows he will. He knows he will. And it's getting better and better. Stargate saying Matt Bonner was on the TSN broadcast with Leo. So he was sitting in the studio. Okay. When I watch League Pass, they don't show our in-studio people. So that's why I didn't see Matt Bonner. Okay, so he was sitting where Sam Mitchell would be sitting, or Kia Nurse. Very interesting. Matt Bonner was there. That's cool. Blackhawk saying Matt the Red Rocket Bonner was on TSN. Nice. Yeah, I wonder how he was. Was he good? Yeah, I bet he was. Cool Cats. I also watched the Dallas game, Dallas team for a while. I listened to their announcing crew for a little bit because I wanted to see what they were saying. Devin Harris very glowingly about the Raptors and things that we were doing. They were actually pretty fair to us in what they were saying. Let's see. All right, it jumped ahead. I want to make sure I get all the comments, guys. So let me see where. All right, where was I? Okay, here we go. Cool Cat. I am patiently waiting for when Coach Darko knows the tendencies of our trio, Pascal, OG, Scotty, and weaponize it against teams. This can be our chip trio play on a string after the kinks are out. I love this. And I hope she's exactly right with everything. I think that he did do that to a degree. He definitely weaponized Siakam last night in a very, very effective way. So I think that we're seeing this. What you just described happened last night with Pascal. He was weaponized for sure. Okay, so Matt Bonner was on TSN. Thank you, Monique, for bringing that up. I don't watch I watch on League Pass. That's where I'm watching it. So I don't see the TSN inside stuff. I only see the announce crews. Let's see. Blackhawk saying we love all of our Raptors. Fuck the negativity to anyone dishing it out. All we needed was an all-rounded, a well-rounded coach. Thank you, Masai. There you go. I love it. I love it. That's exactly right, Neil. Country Kong saying once the second half started, whenever the Raps would get any advantage, here came the whistles. The refs lost back-to-back challenges late in the fourth quarter. Embarrassing. Also, incidental contact. What gives, NBA? Well, that's what I'm saying. We have to be that much better, Country Kong, and we were. And it did matter. At some point, some of those ref calls were so bad, but we were up by double digits. The players were just laughing about it. And they're like, okay, whatever. You're going to do that. We're going to still win this game. We're going to still get this game, even though y'all are hindering us. Sure. We could say it was 8 versus 5 last night, and the 5 won. Yeah. Nameless is saying, how about the slap to Dennis's face with no tag? It wasn't really a swipe. It's more like a brush, but it was weird and was totally trolling and inappropriate. And if you're going to allow people to touch each other's faces like that, what's going to stop people from slapping each other? So, yeah, in some ways, Ben Taylor got that call wrong. If you touch a person's face on purpose like that, even if there was no like force or it didn't hurt them, it's still kind of a diss and it's insidious. And where's the stop? Where does it stop? It's a slippery slope. Okay, so you let Grant Williams caress Dennis Schroeder's face. Like, where does this stop from there? Slap? Maybe like a rub on the ear or something. Like, what the fuck? You gonna let Grant Williams continue to do this? You embolden him to touch people's faces, and I don't like that. Let's see. Yeah, Nameless is saying, imagine one of our players did that. Just imagine for a second. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'd like to see what happens there. I don't know if they would call it the same. They might. Wayne's saying, if we have ownership that values budget over winning and their bias doesn't comprehend winning brings more money, we're fucked. Trading Pascal when he's performing is not good business sense. Yeah, I worry about this. In some ways, we know Toronto general managers and sports managers are not always like with the right mentality for winning. And I want us to continue to have that mentality with the Raptors. This is why I protect Masai Ujiri, because he is the impetus and the spark that makes this happen with the Raptors on a consistent basis. We get the wrong people in charge, we will go to middling team and not matter. We won't be a factor. And I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. So, in some ways, the changes with ownership around MLSE, we're going to be watching real closely. And in some ways, as fan nation, we need to demand a winning culture and the striving to win and not just try and collect our money and make profits off of us with a subpar product. So, in some ways, we want to hold this standard, Wayne. And in some ways, we can demand it as fans. And we can have our ways of exerting that on the ownership, hopefully. David's saying, yeah, I can't understand for the life of me how these refs are so bad at their job. They make mad cash. Get it right, idiots. You know what? They piss off the other team too, then they did a good job. They just got to be equal opportunity pissing off people. I caught Siakam on mic last night saying, hey, look, Ben Taylor, you're going to call it on this end of the floor. You better call it over at that end of the floor. He said that to them at one point. He said, call it over there. You're going to call it here, call it over there. And that's all we want. We want consistency. You're going to be calling things on one end, you better call it on the other end. And in some ways, you're not doing that sometimes. We know that. You know that, yeah. Nameless is saying, I didn't give a goddamn if it's a hard slap or not. You can't do that. In real life, you can assault someone with a pillow. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. He may have been just light dust in his face. As you touch his face, it's like Dennis don't want people touching him inappropriately, Gordy E. Bear. Yeah, he doesn't want his own German coach touching him inappropriately. He doesn't want Grant Williams caressing him with his little side of his hand like that. No, he don't want that happening. That's right. Let's see. David's saying, yeah, I can't stare at a guy on the ground after you dunk on him, but you can give him a little bitch slap between whistles. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of messed up. Shaq Lindsay saying, Pascal Raptor for life. I like that. Fiercely saying, Dennis is good at drawing fouls. Great baiter for the opponents. Yeah, there was that one late in the game where we kind of just needed to continue to score to keep the lead above the Dallas Mavericks. And Dennis made a baiter foul and got to the line late in the game to get a couple free throws to get some points. That was a very veteran, smart play. And that's part of the reason why I'm talking about him and Otto being so crucial for crunch time winning, their veteran know-how and not making mistakes and making really smart plays like drawing a foul and getting to the line like that. Really, really good stuff in that way. Yeah. Let's see. David's saying they should have a media day availability for the refs, open to the fans for questions. Mail me the fine, you fucks. They have this, David. They do AMAs on Twitter all the time right now. They want us to come and ask them questions and talk to them. So there are places to do this. If you're on Twitter, you can follow the NBA officials, the refs, and it's all right there. They have all kinds of events. They showed their orientation this season. They have different things with the refs talking about stuff. They did a little funny clip where they said, which ref do you think they should mic on in the game? And every one of them said Tony Brothers, except for Zach Zarba said Murat Kugat. So it's a pretty, they're interesting. They're allowing a lot more openness to go and talk to them. And yes, you can go and ask them questions. You can go, their forum is there. Go in there, David, gangbusters, be David, and go ask them. You demand some answers and just find them. They're NBA officials. It's a Twitter account. You can find them on Twitter and you can go talk to them there directly and they will answer you. They will. So there is an outlet for this. Shaq Lindsay saying, if not, his stock has gone up. Masai don't settle for nothing less. Well, in some ways, that may be part of the whole thing. Is like any of these guys, we can get their stock up and they're playing well, and there's a good deal out there that Bobby likes, then maybe something will happen. Although if we're playing really well as this collective, don't fix what ain't broken, is what I'm saying. Don't mix the chemistry up by getting somebody you think you need when you have everything already. Country Kong saying, I don't care if Dennis played with Grant or the Celtics. I was outraged when Vince slapped Mo Pete. We got a tech back then, too. Techs are there for a reason. Do you want players to defend themselves? Well, I like that Dennis stood up for himself, and he did get them to review. And Ben Taylor going to look at it did show that he does respect Dennis. And he's like, all right, I'll go look at this. I didn't see what it was, but I want to make sure that there wasn't anything weird. And he did go look at it. So I have to give them credit for that. In some ways, they could have just been like, I don't care. We're going to continue the game. And they didn't do that, at least. So, yeah, I don't care if they were friends. I don't think they're friends from the Celtics. I don't know. Dennis doesn't like all these guys. He's like, he doesn't like Pat Bev. I'm pretty sure he doesn't like Grant Williams either. Wayne Strainer's saying Darko is implementing high IQ basketball, which the league is not accustomed to. Our team is being built that different players can shine on any given night. Try scouting that. Yeah, and I like the way that they can't understand. We got such good passers. The ball goes every which way, and we play like a European FIBA style where we're getting really easy baskets because of cuts and passing. That's the wave of the future. Go against the grain. The NBA wants to be a superstar showcase, more isolation, less FIBA. We'll go more FIBA, and we'll see the winning results come because of that. Shaq Lindsay saying, where is that false Raptors freak that said Pascal and Scotty can't play together? Oh, he's waiting to chime in on Sunday morning. Yeah, I don't even remember who that was, who was talking about how Siakam and Pascal can't be on the same team. I don't know. We don't need to call them out right now. Oh, wait, was it Top? He gone. Blackhawk saying, sorry, Lex. We have to beat the Celtics on Saturday. Our mission is to push above 500 by all means necessary. Now, listen, if we're going to split the games with them, if we're not going to be able to win both of them, the one on Friday is way more important here than the one this Saturday. And it's just because of the in-season tournament. I get it. I want them to win both games, Neil, if we can. But if it's going to be a split of some sport for some point, I'd rather them lose on Saturday and win on Friday. That's just like if it's going to be a split. Now, beating the Celtics 2 games in a row to start the season, that'd be awesome. And it'd be very opposite what happened with the Sixers. And I'd love it. I love that so much. I do want to be above 500, but we know from last year, the climb to get to 500 or above is not a straight climb. There's a little bit of up and down with it. So we'll see. Hopefully we can beat the Celtics in Boston on Saturday. But if I had to choose, if we only get to win one of those games, I'm going to pick the one that Tom and I are going to. Stargate saying, yo, if the Celtics lose to us on Saturday, oh boy, 3-game losing streak, the Celtics fan base would lose their shit. I think that's true. They're already feeling high and mighty from the way they started. And if they're starting to seem a little more mortal and having more difficulty recently, yeah, it really is kind of like our fan nation. They go with the way the wind blows. And if the wind is blowing L's, then they start freaking out. It's just that way for a lot of NBA fan bases at this point. If you're winning, things are good. They're easy. But if you're losing, people start pointing fingers and all kinds of things can get screwed up. So, yeah, I'm with you on this. In some ways, we would be on a 3-game winning streak, and they would be on a 3-game losing streak. And they may be in shambles, Stargate. You're right. Shaq Lindsay saying, my heart goes out for the LA fans. They don't have a basketball team to root for. Honestly, they have some of the greatest players that are still playing in the NBA, playing for Los Angeles teams right now. But, yeah, I wouldn't say they don't have teams to root for. Come on. That's a little extreme. Blackhawks saying, want to see the Celtics lose their shit. I know. I do. I do, too. I want to see these fans go a little crazy. Shaq Lindsay saying they still got baseball and hockey. Cool guy saying, my new OVO Siakam jersey just got delivered. I love it. I wish I could see it. Oh, my gosh. I wish I could see it. That'd be awesome. Which it's the OVO new one, the gold one for this year. So you got the Siakam gold 10th anniversary OVO jersey. Oh, I bet it's beautiful, Cool Cat. Cool Cat saying Delano should have stayed. He would get development minutes under Darko. He's not getting minutes in Boston. They're focusing on the chip. Wrong move, Delano. It is what it is. We can't keep everybody. It is what it is. Delano needed to go. I mean, I'm not second guessing anything. Delano needed to go to another team for a while. We could see him possibly come back to the Raptors later in his career. I'd be happy. But in some ways, whatever. It is what it is. They played against Nick last night. And you see who the 3 guys who were on the bench that didn't get to play? Delano, Svimaholic, and O'Shea Brissett. DMPs, all 3 of them. And they all have ties to Nick. David saying, Loic, j'ai vécu Paris pendant un an dans les 11e arrondissement. Es-tu vu à Paris? Okay, are you living in Paris? I think is what he said, basically. Do you live in Paris? That's an interesting question by David. We'll see if he gets an answer. Wayne Strainer saying, any internal accolades should be weighted towards OG until he gets that Defensive Player of the Year award. We need to honor him in every way. Chance for Defensive Player of the Year for OG, please. I like that. I like this. I can get behind this. Siakam's gotten all NBA. He's gotten all stars. Scotty's gotten a rookie of the year. In some ways, OG has only gotten like second team defensive team. In some ways, he needs more. I'm with you on this. The DOP campaign for OG needs to be strong this year because that man honestly does deserve to be defensive player of the year. The way he plays guys like Jokic and Luka, he definitely does. Shaq Lindsay saying Pascal, OG, and Scotty are the building blocks. Salary 45 million, 36 million, and 30 million. If we can do that, I'll pay that price. Those numbers don't scare me. Let's just see if they scare MLSE and fucking Ed Rogers, piece of shit. Cool Cat saying, I heard on ESPN shows that the shortened preseason has affected players. Too short to get accustomed to systems and get a rhythm might be something to consider. I could see that. I could very much see that. That in some ways the early games in the season are like this. And it could be that we're finally hitting our stride for real right now. Nameless is saying, I consider Tatum a borderline fraud, being propelled by the league for the team he plays for. He's a star, probably not a superstar. I completely agree with this. And you're not the only one. People like Warren Weisfeld and other people have pointed this out. That in some ways, Tatum is getting way more accolades than he's actually deserved. He's gotten to the finals twice and failed both times. That's all I need to tell right there. The man's he hasn't got no championship. He's choked. In a lot of ways, they're writing a check for him that he shouldn't cash yet because the money's not actually in the bank in some ways, is what I'm saying. They already wrote that check, and I don't know if the money's actually in the account, is what I'm saying. So I'm with you on this, Nameless. In some ways, he's a propped up fucking golden boy, and he's way more overhyped. If he played for the Charlotte Hornets, he would not be paid attention to in the same way. Let's see. David's saying, yep, like Joel and other ones. Yeah, exactly. Shaq Lindsay saying Celtics salary 60 million, 70 million, 35 million for Brown and Tatum projected, and Kristaps Porzingis. Yeah, see, those numbers are a lot smaller than the three numbers that he just quoted for us. So if this league is fair, we should be able to keep our guys if the Celtics can keep those three guys, is what I'll say. Jason Choi's here. Good to see Jason's checking in. Pascal was great. I completely agree with you, Jason. I hope you have a fantastic Thursday. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying they always talk about the Celtics' talent, but what have they won? The last time they won, Doc Rivers was their coach, and they had Kevin Durant and Paul Pierce. So, yeah, it's been a bit. It's been a while. And they, there's just a lot of whatever. We know Celtics get overhyped and get a special preferential treatment. You want an example of privilege in the world, and you don't understand it on an individual basis, how people have privilege, white privilege or skinny privilege or whatever privilege you want to talk about. You can look at this situation with the Celtics as a team in the league and understand privilege by just looking at the way they get treated by the league in comparison to most of the other teams in the league. They have privilege. And if you ever wanted to understand the theory or the idea of what privilege is, this is a very good example if you can't grasp it on the individual level. The Celtics have privilege over other teams. They get the red carpet rolled out for them in different ways, whether it's the schedule makers, whether it's the referees, same shit. Yeah. And the marketing also. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay's also saying Philadelphia with only Joel and Maxey beat them. Yeah, there you go. They're a pretender team. Porzingis is a big L, and they're going to find out more and more as the season goes on. Country Kong saying the two-man game with Scotty and Pascal was encouraging. Some very nice give and go interior passing. It would be nice if we could re-sign Pascal and OG with similar contracts. They're figuring it out. If Siakam misses the max, the level of the max that he can't get if he doesn't get All NBA, that in some ways may help us keep him and keep him with the guys. And in some ways, he may very much like that. I don't think Siakam is like into going somewhere else, even if the team's morphing and he's not as focal as he has been in the recent years. I think that he values winning and being around a place where he's comfortable, like Toronto, and he knows he's comfortable here and he likes it here. So in some ways, the decisions about money or contract or his share of what he's doing on the court may be not the same as people would normally think with an NBA player. What matters to him may matter more, like Jakob. Jakob likes being in Toronto because he's comfortable here. And in some ways, Pascal may be the same way, and he may not be as much about the money like it was for Fred. So let's just put it that way. I don't know. We'll see. I hope we can make this all fit. I like that everybody's kind of trying to get their heads wrapped around it, fitting with the three guys too. Yeah, Nameless is laughing. Cool Cat's saying, yes, we should chant MVP for Dennis. We'll do it from now on. Give him his flowers. It's not like it's fake. It's much better to chant MVP for Dennis than for Siakam, because Siakam is we do that for Siakam in recent years, and I would cringe. and be like, don't do that. It's too soon to give MVP chance to Siakam. He's not an MVP. And you guys make us look foolish when you do that. But with Dennis, you can do it, and it's bona fide. And I'm going to start. I'll do it too. I'll do it when I'm at the games. I will be chanting MVP when he's shooting free throws. Let's see. Let's see. Carlos saying Houston getting taught by 43 million Fred VanVleet. They win it. Professor Fred is on the payroll. He's getting paid handsomely with his tenure as professor of trying to help the Rockets win. Well, he's helping them win. He's helping them win, even if he's not doing all the scoring himself. Fiercely saying at David, because you know how Fred's helping them win. You go look at the plus minus. He has the highest plus minus on the Rockets from last night, and he didn't score the most points, but he has the highest plus minus. Then you can figure out, okay, he's a big part of why they're winning. Fiercely saying David speaks French as well. Well, David's last name. Look at his last name. Of course, he has French roots in his family. Monique saying, no more comments. Thank you, Mo. W Stream Lex, keep at it always. Good times, good times. Go Raptors. Thank you. Yeah, I'm about 10 minutes away. I got to do the Instagram check still. But let's see. Cool Cat saying, I love that our trio of Pascal, OG, Scotty all have the chain. Next up is Dennis. Yeah, we could have to see that. We're going to have to see if maybe he gets it. All right, I'm going to do the Instagram check real quick before I forget. We got Grady coming in on his fit, walking into the game. He's wearing a hoodie and he's on his phone. That's the first picture. And then we got Chris showing the highlight of him blocking somebody. That was awesome. Somebody filmed it and they sent it to him and he posted it. There's Chris with his fit coming in the game. He's on his phone. Precious putting OG on blast with the chain. Yes, sir, Killa. OG Ananobi, that picture I used for the stream is what Precious posted. That's where I got it. I stole it from Precious. Let's see if there's anything else. There's not a whole lot. These guys aren't as active on Instagram right now. Mr. New York City's got a thing where it says it's impossible. And he says, let's do it. That's right. He's coming. He's on Mission Impossible time. Dun, 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 dun. And your season's starting tomorrow, Marquise. So I'm going to be ready to watch you guys play in the 905 very, very soon. All right, there's your Raptors Instagram check. Not a whole lot there. Very quiet. These guys are busy. They're on the road. They got their own things going on. Wayne Strainer's saying Malachi is a 4-year player. I blame Nick for his lack of confidence. Malachi put in the work to succeed and deserved his opportunity under Nick. Malachi also deserves his opportunity under Darko, but he's got to produce. He's got to make shots when we need points. We all want Malachi to succeed. We win with Malachi playing great or even good. I love everything Wayne's saying here, and you're exactly right. That's the way we got to be supportive, but let's be real with them. Make your shots when you're open, Malachi, and play at a high level. We'll be happy, and we'll champion you, and we'll protect you in social media places. Nameless saying Malachi can be a defensive sure shot. This would be a tremendous boost for this team. All right. Yeah, I like him being a sure shot and a good defender. Those are two things we really need him to do. Nameless is also saying that Malachi can just come out and play great defense and sink threes. That's exactly what we need. It's kind of what you just said. Kareem saying, what's up, bitches? When I say bitches, I mean Grant Williams, Ben Taylor, Mavericks fans, and Crimea River Luka. Great win. Who said Scotty and Pascal can't thrive together? NBA quick takes. Hi, Gary. Wow. Kareem coming in a ball of thunder right there. He's going to get a dunk because he's saying a lot of funny things. I like how he called those people bitches. You know, it was fun to look at the crowd in Dallas last night near the end of the game. They were so sure of themselves coming that game. They're like, oh, they're playing Toronto. I'm so happy. I'm going to see the Mavericks be 7-1 at the end of the night. I'm sure we're going to win. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, those motherfuckers had no smiles on their faces by the end of the game. They looked shocked. They looked shell-shocked by what the Raptors did to their team last night. They looked a little worried, honestly. In some ways, it was probably very disconcerting just how overwhelmingly we strong-armed them last night. And in some ways, if I was a Mavericks fan, I'd be feeling a little hollow right now about your 6-2 record and thinking, oh, it's so great. I told y'all yesterday when I did my preview, they've been beating pretender teams, lower-end teams, and their record only looks good because they played shitty teams. And, you know, once they get further in the season, they're going to be out of the playoffs. I could see Dallas being like one of the 5 teams that doesn't even make it into the play-in tournament. Seriously. David wants a dunk for Kareem. He got it. And Tristan Phipps, muscle. I got to wonder something about you, Tristan. I love you, bro. You're a huge Raptors freak. And I know something about you. I went into the Raptors admin and I wrote, Raptors admin, why are you failing so bad this year? Because they put the Raptors Tonight up as the media availability for last night. And then Tristan came in and laughed at it. He put LOL on my comment, replied to it. And then they took it down immediately. Tristan, do you work for Raptors admin? Because Because I'm wondering if you were the one who saw me write that and they're like, oh shit, he's right. And you guys fixed it. If you are, Tristan Phipps, you don't even have to tell me if you really are Raptors admin. But if you are, I'm deducing this by Brian Winderstein. I love you, man. And I love that you're on our channel if you are actually officially Raptors admin in any kind of way. We love you, Tristan. Raptors Freak channel loves you guys. And thank you for putting the interviews up. If not, just a little late for me to watch them before the stream. Let's go. Let's go. I'm wondering about Tristan Phipps. Are you Raptors admin? I think you might be. Carlos saying, remember, guys, Malachi was a defensive player of the year in his conference in college. It's a big maybe, but maybe Darko can pull that shit from Malachi's ass. Why did you write that way, Carlo JS? That's a strike for writing such horrible descriptive. Maybe he can pull that shit from his ass. It makes me think he has a long glove on, and he's really getting up in there to pull it out. This is a horrible simile or metaphor, whatever you used right there. This is like Trevor J's. You can't put a flower in a butthole and it becomes a vase yesterday. What is with this, man? I like your point about Malachi's College Defensive Player of the Year award. You're right on that. But man, that colorful language at the end of it, holy crap. Tristan Phipps has got the piece up. I'm wondering about you, Tristan. I'm wondering, just like Iceman like Gervin is Eric Flynn, Tristan Phipps might be Raptors admin, y'all. Cool Cat is saying Flynn is a better three-point shooter than Doughton Jr., and he was a draft pick, so I can understand front office feel a responsibility to develop him over Doughton. He was being mentored by Lowry, confidence lost under Nick Nurse. Yeah, all true. In some ways, he has the lineage of Fred and Kyle ahead of him. And Jeffrey was just a G League player that really overwhelmingly played well and got to almost on the roster. It is what it is. In some ways, I don't even want to talk about Jeffrey anymore. He's our past. I love Jeff and I wish him well. I don't want him to win with the Sixers, but in some ways, I really do like the guy and I have a lot of respect for him. In some ways, it's what it could have should. It's all water in the bridge, and no more second guessing this. I stand with Bobby Masai's decision that they kept Malachi, and we have Malachi Flynn right now and not Jeffrey Doughton. Even though I was dissenting on that a couple weeks ago, I'm a company man, and I trust in Masai and Bobby, and I'm going with them on Malachi. Carlos saying Malachi has all the tools. His shooting form is crisp. He should be fast. It has to be mental. Luckily, we have Darko. He's going to get the confidence if he gets some rope. In some ways, that was part of the problem with Nick. Is too quick a leash. You fuck up, you're out, and you may not get back in for like 2 or 3 games after that. Well, right now, I feel like Darko's saying you're going to play every game, and you're going to get time. Now, you make some mistakes. You may not play as much in the second half, but if you play well, I'll play you in the second half. So he has more allowances to not feel like he's on a short leash, and there may not be like repercussions for failing like when he was under Nick. So that may be part of what it builds the confidence, or he has the runway to kind of get going because it's not so quick that he'll be jerked out of there for failure. Does that make sense? I think that's a big part of it, is that Darko's playing him no matter what, even if he's not totally playing the best. Now, if he plays a lot in that game because he's not playing the best, that's different. But he's getting the chances at least. There you go. Carlos laughing. Lexathon, let's go. All right, 3 minutes ago. And on that note, let me wrap it up before I get to 3 hours. Thanks for watching the Dallas Mavericks get beat by the Toronto Raptors last night. That was fantastic. Good stuff. I love you guys, and I love this team. And if you had some of those moments like I did last night where you felt like you had to pinch yourself because your team looks so badass, such big dudes, killing them down low, Siakam, Scotty looking like the man, OG, get the fuck out of his way or he's taking your head off. You know, there's some good stuff. The poise of Dennis Schroeder and just making smart decisions and really good leadership. Otto Porter's presence. Grady Dick's emerging energy and enthusiasm. Chris Boucher's a bundle of energy and just rebounding and doing so much. Gary Trent Jr. waking up and finally hitting his shot finally last night. What's not to like if you're a Raptors fan? I'll be back tomorrow for a preview of our G League team. Tomorrow, the Raptors 905 are in Long Island to play the Long Island Nets. I'll have a preview for that along with a roster overview of our new G League team for the Raptors 905 out of Mississauga. Also, we'll have the preview for the Boston Celtics game on Saturday morning. So I'll see you guys. That's our schedule coming up. Carlos saying that's the word I'm looking for is poise. That's right. Poise with Otto and Dennis out there with guys like Pascal and OG and Scotty. There's more poise. And some points last year, we'd have a lineup out there with Scotty and Koloko, and those guys are just too young and too green, and the poise is just not there. And we had mistakes made by guys like Scotty and Koloko. Well, now if you just have Scotty out there and he's the youngest guy and the greenest guy out of the other five, the other four, then you're going to have more poise and veteran smarts and not making mistakes in high stakes, high pressure situations late in the game. And that's why I love Otto Porter being healthy and playing for us this year. All right. Cool Cat saying someone said Pascal wants to be the Udonis Haslem of the Raptors. I would love that. That would be fantastic. That would be absolutely fantastic. I would love that. I would love that so much. All right, y'all. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you go follow Play It Again Sue, she's a fantastic YouTube channel. I cannot recommend it enough. And if you want to join this channel, we have membership. Membership has its privileges. You get involved in things like the Trevor J. Cup tournament. You get things like you join our Facebook group and you get all these updates during the day in our Facebook Messenger. There's other cool little perks that happen if you join. So consider it if you like. I mean, at least subscribe. It helps me. I mean, I don't really need you to, but if you want to come watch me and you're from the other teams and you don't want to subscribe to me, I get it. Just keep me bookmarked. You don't have to subscribe fully. Just give me the views. All right, y'all. Thanks, y'all, so much. Let's go Raptors. Be proud. Turn on that red light. Light the beam. Light the red light, the victory marquee light that we got right here in the red 24. All right, y'all. Love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's go.